Okay, there we go. I'm gonna have to. I might have to just like reinstall some of the software. Basically, for those wondering, we have a 2 PC setup, right? Like we've got this amazing laptop here. We've got the PC, and the way it works is we use the capture card. This one. We use this capture card. So this is the 4K-X. Now, you use certain like audio software loops to push that through, and I use Wavelink to kind of capture and push the stream feed. But I might look at another way that doesn't need to use Wavelink at all. So I think Wavelink gets weird sometimes because if you don't use the Elgato mic with the Wave XLR. So yeah, that's why sometimes that happens. It's bloody annoying. It's inconsistent as well. As far as I can tell, I think the way it works is if I turn the PC on its own and the laptop isn't connected, which means the capture card isn't able to properly work, right? It's on, but it's not on. Then I think what ends up happening then... Oh, so where are we at this? All over the place. Whoop. I think what ends up happening then is it basically has a little heart attack. I was like, oh, wow, no audio like detected on this. And then it turns it off. Because it doesn't usually happen when we do like Monday and Tuesday, right? Or Thursday and Friday. It's when I have a break and then on my off day, I'm playing games and I haven't got the laptop on at all. It's very weird. Slow turn to a tech merch store. It's always been a tech merch store. Dude, the amount of Elgato boxes I got behind me is crazy. We also got all the Gunner lenses now, which are starting to turn up. I need to actually put in my order for my new ones. I'm still waiting for a response. They've been a little bit slow to get back to me on the happenings around our discount code. So I'll keep working to get that fixed, guys. Because it would be nice for you guys to actually be able to, you know, credit the sale to the person who inspired you, which is clearly us with our banging glasses. But guys, we have got KPMM action. That's right, we're back with Numedan versus Myriad to kick off this Monday. By the way, reminder, there is going to be an AMD link that starts to pop up in the chat. We are sponsored by AMD for this week. That's right, dude. Like, we're just getting back-to-backs from them. AMD loves you guys. So give them a reason to keep loving you. Whenever you see those links, remember, click them. It helps the channel, and it costs you absolutely nothing to do. So thank you very much, everyone done that. I talked to my my like sponsorship manager for the last one we done, which was the Gigabyte game bundle, and he said you guys absolutely nailed it. So keep that up, !AMD. Whenever you see it pop up in chat, especially, make sure you're clicking on it, because we are this time talking a bit about the Ryzen products as well as somewhere where you can get the PCs configured and built. So with that in mind, I know what you really came here for. It's not me. It's the action. And we've got a fun one here. Yes, this is going to be an interesting one, actually, because we kick off this fine Monday morning with Numedan versus Myriad in a best of 3. I know it almost feels sinful. Part of me wants to increase them to best of 5. I'm going to have to consider it. These two are well-known entity within the KPMMs, and we've got a new map. Danube Divide comes out for Ottomans versus Japanese, a classic matchup, which usually ends with the Japanese being a little bit sore and sad. Let's see if it's going to happen that way here. Yeah, interesting matchup, actually. I think for a while it's felt like Ottomans have had Japanese's number, and I don't think necessarily anything has changed as the meta has developed there. In the early days, it was this idea of like the meta powerhouse, the timing into getting your hands on things like Janissary down the line, and now it's even earlier with that meta timing. People have gotten really good at utilizing the healer boys in conjunction with the double melee armor to ruin a lot of Japanese melee plans, or the ranged armor to ruin the squishy and also not very hard-hitting Yumi. So Myriad's going to have to try and get creative here. We are in a map which could allow for some creativity. It is a map that features the Forgotten Runes, and also not too much distance between the bases, but it looks like Myriad is just going for a tame beginner. We're not going to be seeing him rushing across. No Dark Age racks rush opening. Seems like that stuff has been dying off of Japan. I do wonder if there's a world in which he plays Shinobi. Probably not on this map, but like Shinobi's an intriguing idea just because ever since the Dark Age rush plan for Japan started to calm down a little bit, I think Shinobi's now being slept on. In fact, we were just before we went live talking to one of the players about this a little bit. You know, the reason why Shinobi actually went away, it wasn't necessarily anything that went wrong with Shinobi. It's just the Dark Age rush meta was way too good for Japan, especially with the D-Shove meta. But now with those things being calmed down and one of them being dead, there might be room to consider Coca, which is an intriguing idea up against things like the Sipahi. You know, still a bit worrisome around the archer detail, but like I could see Shinobi plus Yumi being an intriguing 2-element comp here. It's just tricky because the moment you do that, you're definitely not building spears, right? Remember, you don't want to build Rax plus Shinobi. The reason is you're just double countering yourself. Ottomans, though, didn't actually go for the Forgotten Ruins or the Rax opening. A little bit surprised by that detail. He also went for the back gold, so a little bit of paranoia from Numidan that he might have been rushed there. We can see that nothing of the kind is going to happen. And Minaret Madras is now going to be in the way. So just the standard. And no, there are no fish on this map whatsoever. It is just water to split them up with a lot of crosses. So it's like Mongolian Heights in appearance, but nothing like it in play. Interesting. So we've got the Kuristo House coming through. It won't be a play into any Shinobis. A little bit disappointed in that. I mean, I think there's maybe some credence to it. I guess the problem here is like if your opponent's condensed in his base, you've got nothing to attack. That's always been the historical issue. I think if this had been an opening where, for example, Numidan went for the Forgotten Ruins, then you might actually have a call into the Ninja. Instead, it'll just be play safe, play at home. We've got 6 on wood, so it's definitely going to be, what, a production building opening? I mean, it should be. This type of wood income is way too much for just an outpost. So unless he's planning to double outpost, which would be a little bit funky this early on, I think it's safe to say we're probably looking at some aggro. By the way, another interesting thing about this map that we haven't really glazed over before is you may notice that the starting berries is quite different to what you're used to. You get an 8-berry start here. So, yeah, very, very heavy on the amount, right? Normally, we're used to seeing just the 6 berries. So, civs like Japan in particular, there's a good reason why a lot of people will be looking towards them on this map. Remember, they gather quicker from the berries. So, rushing Tawara here, really smart move by Myriad. Numidan, he's at 17 sheep. Myriad got 11. So, yeah, decent chunk more for Numu. And now the Madrasa make it feel better. Kura Storehouse, at least, is over time going to make Myriad a little bit more comfortable. But there is like a risk that you burn through the food too fast here if this turns into a feudal on feudal push. And it looks like it is going to be that. Stables opening from the Ottomans. Myriad has to be Rax, right? If it was going to be, he could have preempted it. It could be that he plays into Horseman here. It's not the worst idea in the world. Like, you get your hands on the Uma Bannerman, then you get the extra +1 melee tech. You actually do somewhat compete with the enemy Sipahi. But the problem always comes down the line of that meta we talked about. You know, like this idea that you're going to get an extra, 2.5 damage on Horseman, while being 3 damage behind Sipahi, is then completely unraveled by the fact that Ottomans will then get an extra 2 armor. It's going to be the 1-2 step. Okay, Samir, wait, did he cancel? Was that Rax originally? I'm pretty sure it was. So he is going stables. Okay, so this will solve archers, but like it's not going to solve the Sipahi issue. At least Myriad has got enough stone for what? Tatara, and he could go for Hizukuri. But he's going to need to move on a stone if he wants to get a good timing into Daimyo. Without that, you won't have the Bannerman. And timings matter a lot here, folks, because if he's a little bit too slow, like this is a race right now between getting your getting your Daimyo mana up, or getting the meta. I reckon Miro's got about 2 minutes before it really starts to sink in that Numidan wants that drummer boy. Myriad, actually, credit to him, is getting a lot more stone than I would have expected. The pacing's really good here. Did he walk for a 1-dropper? No. Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. He's inside. I'm just not paying attention. Yeah, so this is cool. This is what I was waiting for. I seriously, devs, can we please make the villager bigger? My brain wasn't clocking it at first. I was looking at the mini-map so much. Yeah, so we have got the gathering here. This is why he's going to be able to afford all this. So he'll be able to go for the Daimyo to get the Uma Bannerman. We've got double Imam already, though, so Myriad needs to work fast. Needs to be careful. He's already taking a lot of damage on units that are going to feel quite fragile. A reminder, even when he gets this timing into the melee techs, plus the Uma Bannerman, that's going to put him up to about 12 damage, which is what Sipahi started at anyway. So this is still not the backbreaker moment. I think what's important here for Myriad is to find that timing to snipe the Imams in particular. Otherwise, you're just committing a melee mosh pit into AoE healing, which is a quick way of losing any game. Oh, villager gets turfed out. Oh, I don't think Myriad realized. Sipahi just run for it. Gets the kill. Imams, though, looking to be sniped. He's trying to go for the chain heal. Can he actually kind of know? One Imam down. Okay, so Myriad He loses a worker, but he gets something of value for it. And now that Uma Bannerman's here, Numu needs to retreat fast. Might actually need to body block. That Imam is becoming a liability. Numu does turn around now. Mira's going to dive past. He's target firing on this. This is looking pretty damn good. Hey, gets the kill. Gets away. Costs him a horseman. But guys, absolutely worth it. So worth it. Great start by Myriad. But there's something that maybe isn't worth it. What happened? Did he skip a villager? I think he has. Like half a villager at least. Yeah, that's kind of crazy actually. Oh my god, it's even more. Wait. Oh, sorry. No, he just got another kill, didn't he? Yeah. So I'm like doing the math because it's not just the 2 worker kills. There's a bigger gap here. Myriad skipped on either TC production or he was housed. I would go with housed here just because the double stables would make a lot of sense. You tend to pump out horsemen a lot quicker than you realize sometimes. Still, either way, between the chip raids and also the other time, I mean, Numidan, he might have lost his power spike of the Imams, but I don't think he has to be that fearful. He's got the meta coming now. This is a big deal breaker. The meta is really what's going to make it very hard for Mira to win these fights. Let's keep that pressure up. And there it is. Look at the armor. It's free melee armor while you have 11 damage. Soon to be 12, sure, but at that point you're hitting for 9 versus 12 damage and you have less health. Flash coming in. Sipahi not actually being microed away there. Numidan just goes to the stoic standstill. Missed opportunity really. Like you can pull the Sipahi back and have them still commit because of the extra range. So it does end up losing 1-to-1, which is good for Myriad. He continues to commit to this, man. I wondered if he'd look for some sort of greedy way out, but it's difficult, man. Like, your gold is on the forward side, and you'd have to double outpost it to feel safe against Sipahi. Even then, I mean, Sipahi brutal at diving because of the default ranged armor, plus the extra ranged armor they get from the meta. I've got to sneak around the back, but Nimu sees this. Yeah, Mira didn't actually go wide enough, so quick pull away. And with that info in mind, it looks like he wants to attack. No, Myriad, not again. Oh my god, he's obsessed. He wants the triple Uma Bannerman. So instead he gets ejected, loses another worker. Nimu achieving nothing on the other side. This is not looking great. Nah, I mean, the idea is cool for Myriad, but, like, anchoring is really important around these Forgotten Runes. You know, this is the importance of making sure you're wide enough as well, and Myriad will know it looking back at the replays. Like, you know, showing yourself the TC was a big mistake there. Gave Numu all the info he needed to utilize his cavalry well, and now he's looking for a sandwich opportunity. Myriad will at least steer wide of it. Or into it. What? Alright, he's got the second wave of horsemen, but this army isn't that big. No, this just makes Sipahi's horsemen. This is a disaster. Myriad, he tries to chase onto the meta. That's going to be a waste of time. The guy moves at the same speed as a horseman. You're never going to catch him. So all the bodies start to stack up. 4 horsemen, make it 5 going down. And Spearman now slotted in by Numidan. He caught Myriad sleeping here. Archery transition is going to be necessary. Instead, though, Myriad realizes, actually, I need racks. There's just too many Sipahi. I think this is going to be too many things to counter. Like, you're going racks, your opponent's already got Spearman. I guess you could technically Bugeisha. Bugeisha's actually not a bad shout for Myriad. Yeah, because Bugeisha are actually like kind of okay against Sipahi, really good against spears. Then again, you're up against that melee armor. You're always up against this +2. I don't think you can ever Bugeisha here now that I think about it. So it has to be spears. Nimadon isn't really that worried at home because Myriad once again reveals and no, Myriad, no. He's building them. Guys, Onan Bugeisha struggle. And I say this as a big Onan Bugeisha fan. I mean, you've got the +2 melee text, you're at 8 damage, but then you're losing 3 damage post-strike due to the melee armor. So almost 50% damage gone straight away. You know, this is going to be, like, even rough on killing Spearman fast. Also, keep in mind that Myriad... Has he got gold? Yeah, he's got it at the back. So he's locked that in. It's only 1,600, but that's fine. Like, it's not the amount that matters here. It's just whether he can secure it. Nimidon. What did we go for? So it's going to be military campuses. And oh, not just that! He catches the workers moving out for the deer. Oh dear. No textiles either. It forces the horsemen to commit in. And it feels like right now they're committing seppuku. Spearmen going to arrive. Bugeisha do reveal themselves. The Sipahi count is thinning a little, but not enough. No, and that melee armor plus a few archers here is all it's going to take to run the ladies out of town. What a cool idea by Myriad. I mean, maybe if he was able to get up to like 20, 25 on a Geisha, even with the melee army, you can kind of see some value there. The range in particular, it kind of makes you like a non-mounted Sipahi, but wasn't able to reach that critical mass and now finds himself down by close to 10 workers, right? 8 villager difference, about 8.5 actually. I mean, from here, Numu can just march on up to castle if he chooses, or recommit into an all-in. This looks pretty brutal now. Nimu. Props to him on getting his military schools on. All courtesy of the Forgotten Ruins, of course. Geisha are going to try to body block the backstab. There's a move towards the gold now. But Myriad can only really offer up a whimper to try and get a stay of execution here. Geisha try to hold the choke point. Not going to work. Archers start to snipe down the injured. Workers are barely protected at this stage. The Raxas can keep producing, yes, but Numu is now hard steering into archers at a point where Myriad, with lack of food, won't be able to blob horsemen, spearmen, and Bugeisha simultaneously. No, he has to choose his poison here. Be a dive in, and that's going to be another 5. Okay, that's it. Like, you go down another 5 here, you don't have a comeback strategy, right? So he has to commit to the fight. Villagers are going to make a run for it. Breaks away just in time. Then these choke points, you know, Sipahi, just as effective as Bugeisha. There's plenty more Sipahi than there are the ladies. So it looks like game number 1 is going to be a dub for Numadon. Locks it in, easy peasy, and shows us once again why Ottomans are Japan's biggest boogeyman. Yo, guys, you see that link? Click the link. Do you click the link? Remember, guys, this week we are working with AMD to let you guys know about their incredible Ryzen CPUs. If you are a gamer, which I assume you are watching an Age of Empires 4 stream, you should be getting your hands on this. So I recommend clicking through, click on the link, just like I did now, and have a look at what's on offer, because they have got plenty of CPUs in stock. I personally run the Ryzen 9900X, so I would be here in this category. I would be on this one. No, sorry, 9950X. I've got 9950X. I'm jelly of people who have the X3D, but I'll be totally real with you guys. This is a little bit overkill for a lot of your needs. If you're just gaming, come down here to this one, 9800 X3D. This is the Giga Chad CPU. This is the best CPU you can get for gaming. So be sure to click on the link. It's not about buying necessarily, it is about awareness. So you clicking on that link actually helps out immensely, and make sure that AMD comes back for more, sponsor us more in the future. Alrighty then. So let's have a look. Let's mark it up. Game number 1 done. That's a Numu win. Very dominant with auto pick. Ottomans versus Japan. Game 2, we are going to be heading into front range. Oh, it's Numidon's Knights Templar, man. He loves his Knights Templar on this map. I've been seeing a lot of it from him. Where are we at? Do I need a flipsy doodle? I do. Welcome back to the channel, folks, for the battle of the new civs on a new map. I mean, what more could you ask for in a video? This is perfect. I don't know why, it just still puts a smile on my face when we get to see this. Knights Templar going up against House of Lancaster. Maybe it's because outside of the opening weeks, it just doesn't happen very often. Lancaster and Knights Templar tend to exist in very different realms when it comes to map picks in tournaments. We're here on Front Range. This is the map, of course, that was created to feature in the upcoming American LAN. It has delivered some phenomenal games so far, with its gold focus on the north side and its food focus on the south. And Numidan has been the only person I've seen utilizing Knights Templar on this map, and it's got to be said to great effect, actually. I love the idea. The split on this map with the mountains means that you can send your pilgrims north while you focus south, essentially all but guaranteeing safety unless you're up against a cavalry specialist type civ. Lancaster, not really your standard cavalry specialist civ, but they are a solid pick conceptually for this map, a map that features very little food in your base. Remember, you only get about 9 sheep per player, so you either have to have a way of setting yourself up to infinite food, or you have to come out on the map onto things like boar quickly. Now, Myriad could have went on the boar, and actually it probably would have been a pretty cool idea with this spear spam, but instead he just stays at home. Yeah, remember, the reason why Lancaster's so good at going in for these type of plays onto the boar is because you have the short bows. With the short bows, people can't contest you, right? Like, so you basically just, I don't want to say get it completely for free. Down the line, you might get harassed, but in the Dark Age, it's fair to say that English and Lancaster are kind of kings of boar control. So he's going to show up for the burn. I'm curious to see if Numu's going to be going for just your standard Hospitalier. I feel like that's taking over at the moment. It makes a lot of sense against Lancaster, because Lancaster normally wants to spam into spears anyway. So you don't really get as much value out of the Chevalier. You essentially play into your opponent's hand with it. Boar. Oopsie. Boar. Oh, wow. He actually goes Kingdom of France. Curious. Why over Hospitalet? I don't know, man. So this is the thing that's weird to me about this choice, because I think I've seen Numu do this frequently in the past. I think we've seen him play this map 3 times Knights Templar, and I can't remember if both of them were France. One of them definitely was. So, you know, you produce faster, sure. I guess this is about archer ramp up, so he's just trying to blob archers. But, like, technically, on a map like this, the movement speed and health buff on villagers is huge. Because normally you have to come out onto the deer, onto the berries, onto the boar really quick. It's not a map where you necessarily feel safe for long. Unless, of course, you're the attacker. Myriad. I love this. Abbey of Kings. I think this is one of the maps for it for sure. You know, the interesting thing about this map, usually the downside of Lords of Lancaster is they're very slow, so it's hard to have them in position with your army to give the health buff. But on a map like this, especially considering there's a lack of safe food in the base, it works really well. For a start, your timing matters. Your opponent's going to expose themselves earlier on, where the Lancaster Lords are still quite tanky and dangerous. And the other thing, of course, is the just linear motion of it. You move across this field. You know, flank attacks are very difficult to achieve. They take a very, very long time to wrap round. So quite often, a Lord can arrive in the enemy base quicker than a Knight can if he goes wide. KT is rated very poorly by Wham and Beastie on land. Interesting to see them here. I think, like, I would rate them around B tier on land. I think there's some realms where they make a lot of sense, like especially situations where you know you can pilgrim mostly for free. It's also an idea of like what civs will or won't get picked. So I think Knights Templar are very happy when French and Jean are not on the menu. And we have not seen French or Jean looking highly desirable on this map, which just makes Knights Templar feel a little bit safer. This boar, not so safe though. What are you thinking right now? Yeah, he's only got the one archer here. Numu needs to get the rest out. Remember, archers are terrible at killing boar. They only do 1 damage per strike. So it's all about the villagers. Myriad with the play on the board, just trying to delay it as long as possible. Spears should now be able to do their business. Myriad still waiting on that first lord. Spears are going to try to move in here. Wait. Hold on a second. Numu, run. Yeah, that was tempting fate a little bit. I gotta give it to him, although Myriad's gonna lose the spears and Numu will get access to the boar eventually. In theory, anyway. This has still been really effective. Like, the idle time being achieved, the delay on the boar, which is a phenomenal gathering rate, and in the end, Numidan says, no, this is too dangerous. He backs up towards the deer. Yeah, I think it was the heavily injured villager that done it for him. He was like, nah, this is dangerous. If he shows up with just a hovelar or a lord, I'm dead. Oh, this is interesting now. I'm impressed Myriad got that much damage done with the 2 spear beginning. We are going to get Chevalier now coming from Numu, which does make sense against the Lords of Lancaster. Just something that can wallop him with high base damage that can also kite him. Not just that, it's also that you don't want these Lords to get all the way home. Because if they do, they're going to heal off all your hard work. Remember, Abbey of Kings allows them to kiss the boo-boos better. Looks like Myriad is creeping into the manors while this is happening. Yeah, so this is not a hard commit, which I wouldn't have expected it to be. Because the problem here is, like, you know your opponent's going to scale a lot of archers. You know your opponent's going to be able to scale into Chevalier quite confidently. You need to get your own eco upsize, because you also know he's going to be trading. You see that now happening. And this is a much better way of taking balls. Yeah, Lords aren't going to die. And this is the other cool thing about Lords of Lancaster and House of Lancaster in general on this map. Same with English. Abbey of Kings builds, if you can justify them, it's this idea that you can come back and heal. Something that like most civs can't do. They have to take damage from the ball. They're just looking to scare away, create some space. We'll buy time for the outpost to go up, but it's going to cost him a Lord in the process. It might cost him 2, actually, if he's not careful. Outpost feels like it's taking a century. We'll finally go up. Nimue. He says, I'm getting that kill. Nice block there, though. Myriad runs in the way to try and intercept the Chevalier. Unfortunately, the Lord is just a little bit too slow. Will be another expensive minus 160. Okay, so what now from Mumu? He can't directly contest the boar yet, but if he scales up to about 8 Chevalier, that's good enough to break the tower without much loss. And also, Myriad's not really in a position to easily get Spearman out here. Like, I actually think Myriad probably needs Hobbler. You could go Yeoman because you're playing fully defensive, but yeah, there we go. He agrees Hobbler. Hobbler makes a lot of sense because it counters the archers directly, but it also gives you a unit that will get out and heal in a sticky situation. And Yeoman in theory are quite nice, sure. Like, you know, you're talking about lower armor knights, you're talking about normal archers, but even for all that people try to brag about how amazing Yeoman are, they have their limitations, heavy limitations. For a start, they're very expensive at this stage of the game, and you're also already several units behind. You know, if you guys ever tried to transition into a unit type late, like, for example, your opponent builds into, let's say he goes for spears. Do you want to start building spears when he's already 5 deep, or do you want to build a counter unit? You build a counter unit, right? Like, you know, you can be very ego child about this and say that you're the best player in the world and that you can out-micro him. Before you know, it might be Marine Lord or Smurf. So, like, do you want to take that chance? Or would you rather just take the safe logic of, he has spears and I should build archers? Same here with there's so many archers, you should just consider Hobbler. Other thing that's really nice also is I think Hobbler are the best unit to utilize with Lords of Lancaster in Age 2. So they bog down spears because they'll get into melee happily, but they also inflate the HP of Hobblers up to that of a standard horseman. That might not sound like a good deal until you remember you only paid 90 resources instead of 120. So actually getting just shy of horseman health on a unit that you paid 33% less for is a pretty bloody good deal. And that is a pretty nice sneak by Myriad. Numidan, he's camping the berries. I'm kind of surprised actually he didn't check the deer. I mean, deer's a better gathering rate than berries by far. You know, there's a reason we have a pro scouts meta, not a pro bush dragging meta. But when they allow us to do that, I'm totally on board. Guys, I'm warning you now. If you're ever able to drag bushes like you can deer, Japan's going to become #1. Best civ in the game, full stop. Oh, nice grab. Spears find him. Okay, so Numu, is he just trying to play hunker down mode a little? He secured the ball. Walls are coming up. It just feels like Numu's planning to scale, which is a little bit weird against Lancaster. Lancaster loves scaling games because of just how effective manners are, especially on maps like Forgotten Ruins? Like Front Range. With Front Range, because you just have a lack of food as the game goes on, you know, having these, and same with wood, having these infinite sources goes a long way. Oh, what is up? Opicus? Opicius? Apologies if I said that wrong. Thank you for the prime sub, mate. Appreciate you and welcome to the swarm. Ophiuchus? You're a legend. Appreciate it, mate. Remember, guys, keep those subs coming. Start of the month, you have to remember every single time you need to manually drop those primes. They do not auto-renew. Well, to the Twitch streamer, your Amazon Prime thing's probably on auto-renewal, so you're kind of getting scammed there, but might as well get some of that money back and give it over here. Sup, Izzy Clap? Thank you very much. Appreciate it as well, mate. Look at that. We've already started it. Prime subs. Let's go crazy. Mirad? I like this. He's actually just kind of pressuring on the enemy side, distracting. And behind this, man, is he building up yeoman numbers. I wouldn't have really expected this. You know, it feels a little bit weird in some ways to be scaling yeoman in age 2. Like, normally you're aiming for age 3. That's where they truly come online, especially considering the cost. But this detail has been hidden up until now. It's going to be the reveal. Quick reaction on Numi. Does have the tower vision, so knows about it. But now maybe feeling a little bit threatened because before, you know, if your opponent just scaling spear, Hobbler, you don't mind the idea of just going castle, right? Like Knights Templar be okay without this comp. Now that it's yeoman as well, things get scary. Yeah, yeoman, that, by the way, are not going to be easy to kill. 15 HP extra from these lords. Will be a play to break the ball. Nimidon was only able to gather about 25% of it. Chevalier, a bit greedy there with the charge in, does get pinned on 2. Target fire is in on the spears. He's just trying to access those yeomen over time, but you see how annoying, how frustrating these lords are. It's the chase potential that really just screws you over. Hobblars are going to force the Chevalier to recommit. Spearmen are being held really far back by Myriad right now. Still, good momentum, good pressure. Pushes forward towards the base. Numu out here gathering the deer. Can't really afford that type of gap in economy. I mean, that's essentially all of his food, no? Pretty much. I think he's got a few people on berries and then that's it. Alright, we'll just back off. Remember, for him, continue to scale the yeoman is not a bad thing. If this eventually goes to castle and you both have 40 plus archers, everyone is going to be uttering the same words and it's going to be money shot. Nimu. Is he overextended? Maybe. The Hobblars are getting a lick of it. It's a good trade again. These just don't really seem to be going Numidon's way. This is a gradual snowball effect now. He needs something to change fast here, or we're just heading towards a map 3. Hobblar, a little bit of an overcommitment there. Spearline is still looking good, though. 10 of them remain. The Chevalier a little bit hesitant to engage. Hobblar are trying to break through. Target fire is looking decent. Numidon's just a handful of spears remaining. 6 of them that he needs to get rid of, but the archer count is getting a little bit low. You can see gaps in the front line, really. There's just not that many Chevalier left here right now. Yeomen just continue the dive. Hobblar stand their ground to cover it. And these very tanky Lords of Lancaster, you're seeing what we're talking about. It's obnoxious as all hell. The archers keep getting bogged down on them. And even the Chevalier are struggling to kill them fast. Yeah, and Yeoman mainly left over. Miro, this is a bit of an overextension now. We'll look to find his way out. A little bit of an oddity. I don't think Myriad needed to hang around that long. He could have probably start stepping away earlier with the Omen and lost a lot less. But for those that like competitive games, that means that we are kind of reset here. I mean, Myriad, he's built a bigger lead. His eco is up by quite the number now, up by 7. But those Pilgrims, they're still going through, which is at least helping a bit. Archer's now diving. And Myriad, he panics. He actually just moves away instead of tapping the hammers for the last little burst. Cheeky idea, has to cancel the outpost, and all of a sudden Myriad not looking as confident about this. Okay, props to Numidon. He really got a big stay of execution there. That should have just been death sentence. But now, you know, he's still got the Pilgrims going. He gets some breathing room to try and reinflate the Chevalier. I still don't see the clear route to success for Nimu. You know, we're just talking about fundamentally a big problem here. You know, you will run out of resources. Lancaster will not. So he has to find a way of solving for that. And even in the higher level, Lancaster Castle's still the norm. Abbey of Kings is starting to grow in popularity as people are diversifying their builds. But if you were to pull all competitive games, you'd still find Lancaster Castle overwhelmingly ahead. You know, times change. And I'm all for it. I actually prefer this approach to Lancaster. It's kind of intriguing, actually, that Myriad hasn't tried to add in more manners at all. Okay, can we just agree that Lancaster is meant to be in red? Like, these lords wouldn't look right if they weren't wearing red, you know? You know what's even more annoying about this? So this is like when you're fighting a kid on the playground, it's already hard enough. But then, as you retreat towards their base, it's like you now have to fight their big brother. You went into the wrong area of the playground, right? So what I mean by that is right now, there's no healing. Because Myriad's never backing off enough. But if we get close to his base, he'll be able to just circulate injured troops to heal them. God, these yeomen are just so obnoxious right now against these chevaliers. And also, don't forget the retreat is difficult. Archers are slower than in the Yo. For anyone who's like, hey, I don't see the problem. Like, you know, yeah, Myriad's got a slight lead, but, you know, it's not 33 yeomen, 37 archers. Like, come on. Yeah, guys, remember the cost of these two things, though. Yeomen cost almost 100 resources. Archers are 80. So the fact that he actually has the same number of Yos as archers shows you just how ahead Myriad is. And even the army value is deceitful because it's not accounting for the fact that Numidan has had savings on these confrères. He's slightly overcommitted there. Oh, look, it's the obnoxious lords again. And oh, the Hobbler! He tried to mirror to block them, but Mirror just says to hell with it and dives them on in. And now the Lord's catching up. It means he does get that extra HP. The archer count is just melting. Numidan, is he just dead? It looks it. He's got barely any archers left alive. There's a handful of spears to try and rebuttal the small group of knights here. And those knights are wasting all of their time on the Lords. Oh my god, say the Lord's Prayer. You're going to need some divine assistance here. I don't know, man. This just like feels a little bit frustrating with the way that Numidan's having to take these fights. You know, quite often, instead of just diving past the Lords, he gets bogged down on them. And it's definitely just put him further and further and further behind in this game now. In a position where one more mistake and it should just be over. And it seems most probable. You know, Knights Templar, not really a civ known for coming from behind unless you're in the castle and beyond stage when they can start thinking about the keeps. But we don't tend to see many keep drops in feudal. We've seen one in KPMM so far, and I believe it was a Numidan keep, if I'm not mistaken. Very rare sight. You know what's not a rare sight? AMD sponsoring us. Shout out to those boys for getting involved. Reminder, whenever you do see the links on those videos, whether it's on YouTube or live here, clicking on the links does help us out a lot, guys. So thank you very much for everyone that does that. It means that we can keep those sponsors coming back for more, which allows us to do more of these tournaments. Without which, we wouldn't get to see Knights Templar getting picked. I know, right? It's crazy. So we'll just... Someone gave me a little bit of tickle damage here. I mean, it's only a few of the Hobbler. But still, it just exacerbates the problem. Numidan is running out of resources fast. Wood, gold. And the Hobbler now moving north. This is the thing that we were waiting for. You know, Knights Templar tend to get a free pass on their pilgrimages because it's too far out. But with this type of military lead, Mira can start to strip the last piece of gold. Does Plump blind? I'm a little bit surprised actually that Mira didn't just go looking. I guess he's camping the gold. Okay, but yeah, but look at the info he just got there. The Hobbler will get pushed away, but this would be a good time to go for an attack up north. Instead, Numidan is going to force Myriad home. Man, talk about Spidey senses tingling also. This is a really good time to raid in. Look at the macro. Myriad didn't reinvest. He was trying to be greedy. It's weird as well, actually. Just a handful of Hobbler back here would change everything. Archers would just get wiped, and you still get free reign to tech up. Instead, Numidan able to buy vital time. I'm just not really sure what he's going to do with it. Now, at this stage, I think if you're Numidan, you're a little bit suspicious your opponent's teching. You know, because you didn't really see many new units spawning to try and defend against you. And also, why else would Myriad back up so fervently? Like, that's the thing that guarantees in your mind that he's got to be teching, right? It's like, his army wasn't getting much bigger on the front line, but he also wasn't like sticking his army in the enemy base while building a new army at home. Both things that should have been fairly apparent to Numu. Yeah, he's going to try to mirror the age up now. Myriad, meanwhile, is just going to scout north to start to secure the area. Remember, gold runs out fast, so you need to move to secure more. Yeah, especially with Myriad right here. I think he just had to sell some, because he was just shy of the gold necessary for an age up. And it is going to be a white tower. Really? A white tower in this position feels weird. Okay, that's a lot cooler. So I'd say white tower still feels a bit weird in that you've destroyed your opponent. Right, his army's not that big. So like King's College would have been quite viable here. Instead, Myriad taking a bit of a gamble with the vision. Numidan sees it. He wants to do something about this so badly. It's difficult with the army just standing there. Hopes for a kill. Numidan has done a great job of eating this up, by the way, because it looks like, yeah, he's been raiding down here as well. Numu finding multiple avenues to assault with. Has mirrored the tech up now, so Myriad will now be able to lock in the gold. And props to Numidan, turning a disastrous game into something competitive now. Militarily, he's still got a mountain to climb, but economically, he shouldn't feel miles behind. And we've also got fortress drops to try and secure him now coming through. Interesting idea. You could probably fortress up here as well and then look to wall the back. Just become the dwarves, play into the mountains. I mean, Dwarves Templar makes a lot of sense here. You know, being on this open battlefield on the south side is just a negligent element of the map now. What he needs is the north, right? Like, you can just steer up into these tree lines. You can set up farms up here. Got plenty of gold. And then you have the pilgrimages. What Numidan now needs, though, is time. Stables production has begun. Remember, Knights Templar are going to produce quicker, and they're going to be cheaper with these Templar brothers because he went for the French commandery. Yeah, and we've seen Numidan leverage this before. Like, last time he done French on this map, it was for the Templar brother play. That's when you really start to get value out the French commandery. 3 Elsgard are just going to be hunted down. Looks like right now, Myriad's trying to decide if he wants to crap or get off the pot, right? Do I want to just sit here and regurgitate manas into bigger income into late game, or do I want to press into Numidan? So Myriad wants that fight. Does step up. Such a quick capture, gets immediate vision. Reminder, Numidan has not chosen to vet his Chevalier. No, so incredibly squishy up against these yeomen that hit for 8 damage. Did at least get the armor too, which is understandable, though there's way too many yeomen not to have that. And there's going to be way too many arrows coming from the sky soon. Synchronized shot, just a minute away. Numidan just dragging his feet, trying to slow this game down somehow, but now it gets difficult. Double Sacred Site about to get blocked out. You just dropped a keep to inflate your gold income. Now it's going to be kind of redundant. On top of that, the gold in the mountains no longer safe. So it looks like Numidan's attempt to roleplay as a dwarf is just going to turn him back into a normal Humi. What is this happening, Myriad? It's just prepping to scale economy. So we've got the level 2 mana coming through. We also have got him switching to crossbows. So already anticipating the Templar brother threat. Relic game only being played for so far by Myriad. Myriad, he did just get the bad news about that castle. Apparently it's not enough to scare him away though. Oh my, just dives in. He also did cancel Sync Shot earlier. I don't know if that was a mistake. What did he cancel it for? I mean, he has so much resource in reserve. I can't imagine what you would have needed to cancel this tech for. Maybe the wood, but like, I mean, wood's bountiful. You're going to find plenty of it. Kind of a shame as well, because I think he was teching it so much earlier that probably would have been ready for that dive he just started to come into. Moving on, still just fishing for something. We'll run headfirst into spears. Looks to rotate towards the stoneworkers. It'd be nice to try and chip down a few injured individuals. The problem is, seeing that stone gathering, you know exactly what's happening, right? Like, you see that, you're like, okay, so he's basically adding in more manas. And we can see that Myriad is just sitting here on the cusp of going Imperial the entire time. Nice cheeky walls as well. Seriously, Lancaster just feels dirty sometimes, man. Oops. Wait, did he not know about that? Okay, yeah, he did. That's a weird little gap. You don't always get that. No, only happening on one side, actually. Yeah, this game is dragging quite a bit. I'm just not seeing how this dragging does anything for Numidan. You know, at this point, what he's doing is he's Hail Marrying. He's just looking for mistakes from Myriad. What Numidan is essentially saying is like, yeah, the game looks quite over for me, but he respects and appreciates the fact that Myriad still has to end the game. Alright? There's still mistakes that can be made. But it is getting harder and harder for those mistakes to occur. I think Numidan earlier, when he was able to kind of just raid, keep pressure elsewhere, forced Myriad to dive into the back of his own base, right? And dance your tune. But now, the position that he's approaching, Myriad, he sees the villagers. He's got the synchronized shot available to him. Holding onto it for the moment. Sync shot is going to go for the army instead. Doesn't try for the worker kills, but it doesn't matter because they're close enough. The yeomen are going to run them out of town. And that should be the convincing detail. I mean, Numidan, no access to the north side again. Sacred Site isn't being captured, it's just temporary. The relics are being ran home, though. And remember, Myriad sees south as well, so he knows any move being made down here. Yeah, and with this many spears, you could even consider just burning the fortress. Numu. If only the armies were closer in size, these auras the fortresses have could be a difference maker. You know, the extra armor, the extra range, but the extra range here doesn't really do anything for you into yeomen. You know, it still puts you at 0.25 tiles less than them. It's kind of funny seeing this many yeomen as well. I feel like when you see this many, you would have assumed that this was a Lancaster castle build, right, for the summon. And these yeomen aren't easy to kill, by the way. 97 HP, courtesy of those lords. It's kind of ridiculous, actually, at this stage in the game. I mean, remember, percentile scaling sounds obvious to say out loud, but better with bigger numbers. And numbers scale as the game goes on. So, you know, a play that looked really powerful early on just gets better and better with age. I think the biggest mistake we see, and the reason why lords don't get leverage late game, is people just forget to queue them. Now it's going to be a dive in. Trebuchets have risen, to try and deal with this threat. Numu. Double Mango is, again, 67 yeomen. Let's just not talk about it. Yeah, congrats. You tickled them. And now you die. One down. Sync shot comes in. Mainly absorbed by the horsemen. But now those spears. They see the horses. They lick their lips. Double Mango down. It just means the yeoman can camp here. And I just don't think Numidan actually has enough archers to clear these spears fast enough. He's at least got enough to snipe the lords. The yeomen just stand here. They just force you to commit. Once you do, the real punishment comes through. GG. It is going to be a game number 3. House of Lancaster versus Knights Templar. And the House of Elves is still getting the W's. Yes, with the House of Lancaster, but I feel like we should be calling Knights Templar the House of Elves. As they will be taking the knee. So let's mark that one up. Knights Templar versus House of Lancaster, a right side win. And by the way, guys, we have got live series coming up today, so we know that we've got... Where was it? I listed them. So we've got Lucifer versus Lash, which will cast at 2 p.m. UK time, so in about 45 minutes. And then we've got Voldemar versus Sass, which is booked in for 3:30 p.m. as well. And then we've got some other series to cast, such as Deniska versus Mahodo, the winner of that up against Vortix. And then... need to keep an eye on the other ones. What else are we meant to be having today? B and Scabbrain need to schedule. Wham and sort of us trying to figure it out. I think Kiliadi and Core, double check, they might have scheduled already. And then Anatan and Recon need to sort theirs too. But it's sounding like it'll be less chaotic than last week, thank goodness. Was it the week before? I don't know. They all mesh together. There's always problems. My life is never stress-free. Okay, Dry Arabia going to be coming in for the final game. And I believe I saw Delhi Roos. Voldemar has a GoFundMe to fund his trip to King of the Rockies. Okay. We're going the Smash way, are we? I don't know. Like, I'm curious to see if that's going to be that effective or whatnot. I get the desire not to just sit out land money or whatever. But it is kind of crazy just how expensive that's going to be. Because the thing you have to keep in mind, guys, is the travel. So what the flight plus hotel probably going to be, let's say, $1,500. I don't actually maybe more. I don't know how expensive it is where they're having the LAN per hotel. Let's say safely $1,200, $1,500. That's quite a lot. And then in terms of what they can win, is it 10? Is it 15,000? It's 15,000, right? Being realistic, you've got Wham, Louis, and Puppy Paw there. So you're probably playing for... Oh, sorry, Marine Lord made it as well. Oh, Jesus. So realistically, you're probably playing for between 4th and 8th, right? So your best case scenario in theory should be $1,500. Worst case scenario is $900. If you get your flight cheap, which is feasible, by the way. I can do, I don't know about their airlines, but I know, London to, let's say, Boulder, Colorado. I can't remember if that's where they're having it or whatever. If you get it cheap, it could be $400, $500 flight. If you get it cheap. It's feasible, by the way. You can get them even cheaper sometimes. You can get them really cheap sometimes. Yeah, I'm seeing them for £455 or whatever, right? Because I know one time there was an event that was hiring, and they were talking about flying me out instead of a guy who lived in Colorado to get to Vancouver. Sorry, not Vancouver. Seattle. They worked it out. They checked the flights. They're his flight is $800, and for some reason we can get you out for $400. Oh damn. So maybe they can get, so if they can get that cheap, and then they get, I don't know, I'm assuming there's a hotel deal. I don't know how many days it is. Let's assume it's 4 days. And you get a hotel room for $110 a night, $440. Let's say you're about $1,000, and then food $1,100. So if they can figure out that type of deal, the good news is because of the split on money, as you guys can see here, because the split on money, they would be able to at least pad most of the costs, which isn't too bad. Actually, props to RE for doing that. So that even the last place players will make enough to cover realistic costs. That's not too bad. They're trying to raise 700 euros or so. I feel what are the dates? What are the dates? I'm kind of curious now. So, flight from Denmark to... Where is it? I don't even remember where it is. It is Colorado. I was right. So it is Boulder, right? Because the other thing is also, you can do these things where it's like connecting. I think you can do the connecting flights thing, but you don't get on the connecting flight, right? Is it in Denver? This shit is absurdly expensive. To prove my point of how expensive it is. Damn, I'm getting scammed too. Actually, sorry, it's 24th, 20. So you come early, remember? So it'd be. Wait, is it really 24th to 20? That's a dumb day. Sorry, but that's kind of a dumb. Wait, what? Oh, wait, no, I'm dented. I'm on the wrong month. October. I was about to say, that's such a stupid date to do a tournament. So those are the realistic dates you're looking at. That's not too bad. £497, right? Hey, Voldemar, MSN, get booking now. You freaking kidding me? Look at that deal. That's a steal, mate. Was that £348? Mate, hold on a sec. Let me... Yeah, send it to Voldemar. Oh, get booking. Mate, that's cheap. That is really cheap. Okay, that's like good news to them then, because so £348, and then I don't know what. Like, let's assume like $120 per night. You need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nights, so that's $600. 340. Well, we said it was £350, right? $473, so $500, right? So, I said 600. So realistically, like $1,100, and then maybe an extra $100 to cover like food, but like Rising Empire should do that anyway. So actually, like that's not too bad. They've got a realistic situation where you don't actually need like crazy amounts of funding. But that's pretty good. They should 100% rush that deal. Wait, you're right. Was it a one way or was it both? No, it's round trip. Round trip. No, that's pretty good. And then, like, I mean, like I said, I put like an extra 100 on top for food, but realistically, you use that for travel because food should be there anyway between hotel and everything. So, like, basically, they should, off of doing the event, worst case scenario, even if they didn't have funding, not break even, but not be like in debt. But they get a tiny bit of funding. Like, it's basically padded, and if you just have the worst time ever, like, you're still break even sort of thing, which isn't too bad. Nice. $1,400 from East Coast US to Africa? Sheesh, why are you going to Africa? So sad there is either water or Russia between Germany and Denver, else I could do a road trip. Dude, you just need to get like those, you know, get one of those boats, one of those boat cars, you know, the ones that like turn into a dinghy. Then we need Crackety living his best life as like a middle-aged boater man that wears, you know, like the little cap, the little peak caps, like military ones. Just like dusts it off, puts it on, puts his pipe on, and then off you go. By the way, guys, off you go to that link. It just popped up in chat. Before we get into this one, reminder, we are working with AMD all week. Click on that link if you like them coming back, and you should click on that link because it houses the most incredible Ryzen CPUs, which are the best. All right. From Frankfurt and back is around 600 euros. Yeah, still. Yeah. Don't know if you'll be there. I'm not going. Like, Rising Empires probably do not have the funding to afford to pay casters. I mean, I'm assuming if Steel Series couldn't afford to pay people, then I wouldn't expect Rising Empires to. And like, on top of that, the flights, I mean, even at those discount price, let's say £1,000 on like travel or whatever, like I'm not paying that. No. Dude, I do not make enough money to go paying for those things. Also, I mean, you know my opinion on this, Crackety. I've been honest about it. Like, if you have enough experience, you shouldn't be doing things for free. Even if you like even if you're like, it's my hobby or whatever. It's you've honed a skill and a craft. It shouldn't be for free. And that also it's so for those who wonder why, it's like it's a double fail in that, like, what you do to yourself. If for example, if I as a professional host and caster of X years started doing events for free, then what that does is that signals that, like, I am worth 0 pay per day to other tournament organizers. That's how it works. That's how they see it. And then the other thing is, like, it damages everyone else who's trying to do that profession for a living, because now the tournament organizers are like, why would I pay for this person? Because this person is going to do it for free. You know what I mean? It's something I saw a lot in Dota 2, and it was like, it was raced to $0 pay. Like, it's ridiculous. It got to a point where, in like, for some qualifiers, they stopped paying people at all because other people would do it for free on their own channels, which was a lose-lose, because those people, you know, they couldn't, it's not like they had sponsorships, not like they were getting sub revenue, because people would come watch the tournament for 1 week and then leave. So the only person who won was the tournament organizer. So yeah, that's why I didn't do Steel Series. That's why I probably won't do Colorado, but wish them luck with it. I mean, if they do manage to get some big sponsors and want to bring out some casters, I'm open to it. By the way, this is like, my assumption is they can't afford it. It's not that they've come and gone and went, KP, can you do this for free? They haven't even asked. I'm assuming they just don't have budget. That's normally why they won't ask. But let's get ready to rumble. Oh, that's right. Nothing like a deciding game to crack this big boy open. Week number 4 here in the midweek muster. In the round of 16, it comes down to this. Numidon on his Delhi up against Myriad's Roost. A matchup that I feel like we keep seeing a lot at the moment, actually. And it almost feels like I'm at a tennis rallying party right now. You know, very back and forth matchup, actually, in recent times. Curious to see who's going to be able to take the W here. I think Numidon is the boogeyman at the moment. I mean, props to Myriad for that win in game number 2, but I think even he'd agree, with the way that Numidon has been playing the last 2 weeks, this boy looks scary. Like, remember, Numu, I mean, he was able to, I think, shock a lot of people. You know, he made it in the end of Season 1 KPMM, the final edition, week 30. He made it into the grand finals up against Wham. Then you just fast forward into, like, Season 2. And then when you look at the results, you know, you're talking about Numidon taking, I believe it was 3rd place, 3-1 against B in week number 2 of this $20,000 esports circuit. So yeah, this guy has been ranking up, man. He's been leveling up time and time again. Keep in mind, like, even in that week 2 example, that's the same week that you had people like B, Anatand, Recon, Sort of, Voldemar, Myriad all playing. Yeah, this guy's been impressing me, man. And it's great to see. You know, we keep theory crafting on whether he's going to disappear. I think last time that Numidon got hyped up, he just eventually just disappeared. He was on the high. You know, you had people like Beastie talking about the potential he had a lot. And then he just went AWOL for a few months. But definitely has been a bit more anchored, a bit more present in recent times. So do we just normal pro scouts, right? Like we must. Deer spawn at the back, pretty nice. This one's really far out there, though. Good news is Numidons are both forward spawning, or at least sort of, and split. So it's a bit harder for him to camp. Look at sacred sites, though. I think like there's a pretty easy way of kind of defending the south side of your map for double sacred site and also a deer stack. That would make a lot of sense for Numu. Wait, we don't have amphibious cars yet? Dude, why is it James Bond got the tech so far ahead of us and we just can't catch up? We're all just so lame. And what is up, Littleton? Thank you very much. Appreciate the sub and welcome to Swarm. Remember, guys, always get those subs in. It does support us immensely. Thank you, thank you. Golden Gate coming in, and it should just be standard Dome of Faith. Is everyone else just getting bored of Dome of Faith? Is that okay to say out loud? That I want Tower of Victory to actually occasionally be picked? Like, I get it. It was an oppressive meta. You know, everyone was just Delhi's human toilet back in those days. But for realsies, come on. Just something else. Every once in a while. Same to you, actually. Holy crap. I love that mentality from Littleton as well. I've been watching for hours a day while working for a few weeks. If that isn't worth a fiver, I don't know what is. Boom. That's the mentality. I love it, Littleton. Obviously, if you guys can't afford it, I get it. But yeah, it's like, you know, if you think about, I think the thing we said a few weeks back is like we were theory crafting. Some people like the amount of hours they were spending on here. And then you went, so how many hours do you watch your Disney Plus? And they're like, I watch more of you than Disney Plus. I'm like, oh my God. So I am your Mandalorian. Only each season just keeps getting better. By the way, I like that we're getting this type of split from Mirad. It's really cool because Delhi won't come in with Dark Age aggression, so you can get away with these type of hunting cabin placements. He even clubs the sheep down on both to remain optimal. So yeah, Mirad just doing every small detail he can to get the best possible opening here as the Rus. I wonder, how will Numenor open? Ghazi seems to usually be the norm, and the idea is that encourages Rus spears. The cool thing about doing Ghazi still, though, is like it does deter Rus from going archers, which is preferable for you. Yeah, and even if Ghazi don't immediately have value, you know at some point in the game against Rus, they should have value. Whether it's a long feudal with archers, or your opponent's rushing castle and going horse archers, like Ghazi tend to always find a place to call home. The rats beginning as expected. No reaction yet. Would Numenor maybe go blacksmith first? That would delay your timings. Nah, so it's just gonna be stables. Yeah, because I think the issue you have here is Pro Scouts is already on the way. If you go blacksmith first, you're delaying your first Ghazi out. By the time it arrives, there's already gonna be deer home. And that's when your problems start to unravel. It's like you're trying to get impact before the Pro Scouts gathering begins. Because once that deer beast is unleashed, it just vomits out so many troops. Mirad already waiting in position to pick up some deer from the enemy side. You guys are talking about EV cars? So I don't have that problem because I still don't know how to drive. I don't know, it's kind of one of those things where I didn't really need it in the early years, and now, like, for my work especially, I don't need to drive. Emma keeps trying to harass me into it, but I got way too many things going on. Maybe eventually. You know what I need? I need to become big money streamer, and then I can buy my dream car, and then that'll incentivize me to learn to drive, you know? First deer already on the way home. I like that Mirad actually just split everywhere. It just makes it almost impossible for Numenor to guess right. You know, if you gamble and just put all your deer gathering in one location, your opponent gets it right, he's going to be blocking out all deer. This way, at best, Numenor can intercept one of the deer gathering spots. Don't need a car in your capital city? Exactly. I mean, I don't live in a capital city, but like the thing you have to keep in mind is for my work, my travel is go to an airport and go to a different country. So, like, what use is a car? That's just an annoyance. You have to pay to keep it in, like, the airport car park, right? And I'm going to business expense back to the company the cost of my travel anyway. I'm not even sure. I've never even asked other casters if they ever have a situation where they expense petrol and everything back to the tournament organizer, actually. Interesting one for me to look up. I could see it kind of making sense on local events, maybe. I mean, I reckon if a caster offered, they'd bite his hand off, depending on the situation. Like, if it's going from the UK to France, I could maybe see that ending up being cheaper to just have them drive there. In fact, I still remember a few years back in COVID, when when one of my contacts was looking for casters for a Counter-Strike event in Ukraine. Sorry, no. Yeah, I think it's Ukraine. And due to the COVID limitations and also what was happening with Russia at the time, their plan to get someone into the country to work the event involved getting driven across Europe. It sounded so dodgy when I was like having it explained to me. I'm like, I don't think this is for me. They're like, we'll pick you up at London. We'll drive you into France, through Belgium, across Germany, through Poland. Actually, I don't think it's Poland. I think they were going to go down through Hungary for some reason. I was like, man, so this is like the most absurd travel method I've ever heard of for an event. Spearmass, by the way, is struggling a bit here. Numidan found the timing. Archer plus Ghazi and Mirren, he is now getting to the Knights, but it's pretty slow. Not really scaling as quickly as he would like. Still very hard to dive in, but the bigger problem here is that Numidan has already locked triple Sacred Sight without any contest. Yeah, normally Roost look a lot better if they're able to slow down these capture times. So I was maybe expecting to go for like 1 or 2 early Knights just to play wide. A little bit risky against Ghazi, but you know, if you catch the unguarded Scholars, they're free kills. The other worry here is Pro Scouts. You know, he actually hasn't got that much of the deer off the map. No, there's 14 left out of a total of 28. And it looks like it'll be very hard for him to get any of the remainder. Imu. I think he's just going to gradually look to go castle here, right? Mirrored scaling Knights is nice. I think it's nice for a transition point into CA, though. Especially now that Numidan's going Spears. Like, the problem is Mirrored doesn't have this info yet because of the way he's been forced to play the last 2 minutes. More of that vision is now just going to get denied. Ghazi able to chase him down. Knights are going to sneak in. Now, hold on a second. This is a good find. Numidan rushes the outpost up, but is going to lose 2 workers doing so. Good start for Miri. Still stockpiling resources. Got a lot of food in reserve. I've noticed this about Myriad. Like, I don't know if it's just the way he likes to comfortably go to castle, but it does often look like he's just over-holding on resources, right? Like here, unless you're going to tick it through the food and the gold, your timings aren't really aligned to balance food and gold for an immediate attack. And we had this last game where he was flowing an insane amount, but never just going Imperial. And like the difference was so small, it was kind of at a point where it's like, yeah, you can just imp now. I think for Myriad, what he likes to do is stockpile resources, take one more fight, and then assess whether he needs to reinvest. Right? So that little poke, he's like, okay, that was kind of a rough fight. I took losses, but like, did I lose enough that I need to reinvest, or do you just age up now? Looks like the answer is going to be the latter. So food and gold being saved. Should be having the high trade house in a matter of seconds. Numidan has continued to invest. Still has 2 sacred sites, mind you, so it wouldn't take him long to catch up. Get your numbers in, folks. It is going to be a fresh tree line here for Myriad on level 2 bounty. You hear helicopters when Ghazi move? I think you need to take your helicopter to the mechanic. It might be damaged. So sacred sites are being paused, but I mean, at this point, Numidan has everything he needs for attack. So, age 3. Military elite for Numidan. Has he got map control there? That's the important detail. This is a relic race matchup. And looking at the positioning, it doesn't feel like Numidan has raced towards said relics. No, he's been keeping the skulls at home. Now would be the time to send them out, though. It's just risky because your opponent's massing knights. And I think this is another part of what's nice about massing knights as Roos. It's not just about the fact that you know Delhi will play out their base under berries, which you can raid. It's not just the fact that it scales really nicely in the castle. It's the fact for the beginning of castle timing, you now have heavy cav that you can position around the map on those relics. It's a really nice denial tool against Delhi. kit quality stream is not good. The quality is what it can be, basically. I mean, I'm looking at it now. It looks okay from what I can see. Nice. Nice pounce here. Castle Age upgrade is already in, so these knights hit a lot harder. Nimu, with the textiles, will at least minimize the losses. Still, Nimu is not really getting much out of this age up so far. The scholars have not been able to grab the goodies. Warrior monks are now on the way for Myriad. My archer's going to keep pressuring into his face. They are outnumbered, though, so he needs to be very careful about this. Yeah, the Lance's count is already getting pretty strong for Nimu. And Homeblade's still some way off, but it's going to matter. I mean, Homeblades normally comes into these fights before Boy's Fortitude, especially with these type of builds, because Myriad, of course, hasn't gone Horse Archer Knight. Village is now being pulled by Myriad. What? Wait, what? Wait, what? Huh? Is he really yoinking the enemy? Not even his own boar. He's just straight up heading for Numidan's boar. Wait, what? So this is, I assume, Wooden Fortress on the Sacred Site to block Cap, and then boar pull into it. That's weird, man. Wait, what? Okay, no. It's just he overwalked them. They're walking back now. That was getting really weird. Alright, so Nibidan is just going to take a chill pill for the moment. He's waiting for the War Elephants. Myriad has read through this, though. That's the correct call. You want to be going in crossbows. The nice thing about these War Elephant pivots is quite often they open lances, so it kind of hits. Yeah, it's a good thing he didn't play for that boar. I think it would have been an immediate backfire. You know, remember, Myriad, he has got a lot of knights, sure, but the lance count isn't that far behind for Numidan. And you always run the risk of running into a war elephant. Like, if you play this far forward on the boar, your opponent's going to have his elephant there, but you won't have your crossbows. If you play on your side, your opponent has to forward into you with a war elephant, which is really slow, which means crossbows will be there in time. Difference that, like, a 2 screen width can make. I think the quality's better here. I mean, the quality should be better on, like, YouTube as well as Twitch. Reminder, though, you can always just open both. Why pick when you can pick all? It's kind of weird that, like, YouTube has not provided a way for agencies and brands to track live stream activity without the creator giving the behind-the-scenes stats. It makes it very hard to monetize YouTube streams outside of their platform. It makes it very hard for me to go to AMD and be like, we should sponsor here. Like, basically, the sponsorship we've got going on this week with AMD is based on our Twitch numbers. Because that's what they can see. Alright, bit of a chill pill moment. We actually got crossbows coming in from Newman now. Is Myriad scaling his too slowly, though? It's already double War Elephant. Remember, War Elephants are pretty reasonably priced. 400 food, 350 gold. And the relic game, by the way, did go to Myriad. In terms of high trade house, 132 gold. So a pretty respectable amount coming in. He's almost got tier 3 bounty unlocked. I quite like Myriad's position. I think the problem here for Numidan is he hasn't constricted the map at all. And he looks quite reliant on War Elephants currently. Knights, they do also have the Boy's Fortitude already. Numidan thinks twice about trying to repair the wall. Army is going to try to react, but dangerous. Let's back off in time. And the War Elephants get revealed. So Myriad knows what he's up against. Does break the wall, but knows better than to go in. You know, if a crocodile opens his mouth at you, you don't stick your hand in. So isn't going to take the bait. Are there any ads on YouTube? Yep. There should be mid-roll ads, etc. Knights. Now with the charge in. I'm going to regret that quickly. Yeah, it needs to be a bit more of a starter step motion here to win this fight. Crossbow ball is looking pretty decent, though. 9. Almost gives him enough to one-hit the Lancers. has to be careful in these retreats, though. The problem he's got is he's up against Paik, so Numenor gets first strike, and on top of that, the crossbows are slower, so when you pull away, they're being exposed, because they also get put to the back of the formation. Nice now. We'll go for the commit, but Myriad... I mean, these War Elephants haven't been answered at all. You can't actually hard commit with them still alive. You can see it in the body count. And Numenor now in momentum, looks to push forward, and I think Myriad, although he's got a lot of way to run home here, his knights just aren't hitting. They needed to be raiding. Instead, he's been the one getting raided. Numenor back in position to get Sacred Sites now. Pull the gold his way. To make this his game. Reminder that this is the deciding one. Whoever wins here will go for against either Anatan or Recon. Best of 3s in the round of 16. Sometimes it feels vicious as well. Like these two, you know, you've seen the back and forth of it. Like game 2, Myriad really was able to unwind and dominate Numenor in that one. But this time around, feels like we're reaching Delhi dominance. You did indeed see Lucifer, and he's like, wow, my brother won this. Time to win it instead. Immediate headbutt makes the Knights regret life. Nice pull back there. The micro on point. Numenor is just using them to absorb damage. The push continues. Remember, for Numenor, it's not as much about War Elephants can kill. The fact they can threaten a kill is what keeps Myriad back. But them surviving is more important. They're just a damage absorber for your backline. Myriad now going to experience the versatility of them as an attacker. Able to get some decent hits in there. The Knights charging deeper. Myriad on the verge of defeat here. Yeah, this is just a Delhi death push. It's not going to stop now. The range mass is just too big. He's at a point where he one-hits Knights with the crossbows. And Myriad just doesn't really have much left to throw at this. He's also gathering limited resources in the corner. The boars almost ran out too. An impressive Delhi execution by Numenor. Means he will be able to make it a 2-1 score here. Because I think Myriad is just running on fumes at this stage. Yeah, I mean, the food income looks good for the moment, right? But it's because he's rushing the berries. Like, once those are gone, which they're going to be gone in the next minute, what have you got left? The boar just ran out as well. Yeah, so this number is about to plummet. You find it offensive for me to use impressive and Delhi in the same sentence? Well, if we're willing to use the word impressive or surprise, surprise win with China in the same sentence, then, like, come on. Anything's possible. Like, sheesh. I know you hate Delhi a lot, but anyone would think I just said, wow, Lancaster won. That's a surprise. And just the ram spam now. Numenor. He knows all he needs to do now is delete the infrastructure. The only thing that could really go wrong here is, like, if you dive the base, you run the risk that the remaining crossbows can snipe you down, you know? Like, just take out the housing, take out the infrastructure. That way, if Myriad by some miracle has got some big reserve, like, you know, his dad's a millionaire and he's going to bail him out, he won't have the buildings to use the resource. So, smart choice here. Sacred Site's once again locked in. And Numu's just been padding farms behind this, right? Just in case this game does drag deeper. He's up to 20 farms already, soon to be 30. Myriad's stuck on 50. Yeah. A better gathering rate farms, though. Right? Oh, okay, he's missing that. I mean, in fairness, the bounty does still make it a bit better. I'll be right. I think we're out of time, buddy. We might as well Rohirrim this. Horsemen march forward. This is all about the crossbows. If he's going to win this fight, the crossbows are key. Oh no, but the villagers get found on the farms. That's going to slow down his reap-through. Choke points will be blocked in. Numenor's not going to allow him to flood out at all here. The War Elephants are being target fired down. Samira's getting some big kills there. But still, it looks like these War Elephants may have already done too much damage. The back line is going to carry on through. Myriad's last stand will see him fall. Crackly loves playing against Delhi. Oh, yeah, but, like, you know, there's a new favorite for him this return, guys. Remember, it's the return of Recon. which means that Crackety can experience wolves and nest of bees all over again. So, like, you know, his experience is about to transcend into a different direction entirely. You know? No longer will he moan about the deli. He'll be back to nest of bees. You guys remember that clip and how he just screams the F word? I like to imagine that the moment that Crackety heard Recon was back in Age of Empires 4, he swore exactly like that. Yeah, GG Mirai, GG Numidan means that Numi will be able to go through 2-1. He'll be up against either Recon or Anatan. Now, we have... Oh, it's kind of awkward, actually. We've got a live series starting in 10 minutes between Lash and Lucifer. Which means not enough time to cast an entire other series. Let me double check I haven't read that wrong. I'm pretty sure it said in 10 minutes. Yeah. So 10 minutes. And that's not the right bracket. Bracket needs updating. Let me see. Maybe we could do one of the games from one of the other series. Maybe. I don't know if we'll have enough time, though. It's like... What do we do for 10 minutes? Death Scroll Reddit? I'm checking if they've started drafting, actually, just in case. They have not started drafting, no. Ugh. Could do a Mahodo Deniska game. I'm almost certain it's going to run us over, though. Do a pub game on 8x speed. Who's playing pubs? Lucifer's online, so we should be drafting shortly. I'll keep an eye on it. Let's have a look. Do those dudes that you hire from the samurai a tree thing get upgraded when I get my melee armor better upgrade? Wait, do you mean the Ronin? Ronin will get your blacksmith techs, yes. Pretty sure of that. Alright, let's see. Let's have a look at a random recon game. In honor of Crackety while we wait. AoE 4 Vitality Scarlet Devil. Wait, did he get picked up by Vitality? Nah, I doubt that. I would be shocked if Vitality chose to invest in AoE. Alright, let's do a Ravane recon game. We'll chill vibe some Byzantine versus Japanese while we wait. Alright guys, so we've got a few minutes to go until Lucifer versus Lash. Let me update title as well. So I figured while we wait, we could watch a little bit of this. I just realized actually I need to get rid of the sponsor carousel. Let's turn that off. Alright, so let's flip that around. Alright, welcome back to the channel, folks, for a little bit of pub action here. We've got Recon going up against Ravane. Recon, who is diving deep into Japan to discover an honorable people and how to make them do shameful things. So Recon has been getting a little bit creative at the moment. He's been getting back into Age of Empires 4 pretty rapidly, and his newest task to tackle is figuring out Japan, because everyone keeps telling him they're OP. We're on the 2x speed here. We're just waiting a few minutes until we get ready for our next midweek muster series. Ravane, definitely no pushover, by the way. If you're not familiar with this guy, playing as the Byzantines up here, he is always towards the top of the ladder these days. Right now, he is ranked 11th on this account. And then you've got one called Not Ravane that I think might also be Ravane that's ranked 6th. Yeah, guy is an absolute brute. But Recon, props to him, has been ranking up pretty quickly upon his return to Age of Empires 4. He's right now ranked 16th in the world. Oh yeah, I need to get some more mods, don't I? Who to mod? Wait, why did it stop following when I done that? Let me update the bracket. It should be commands, edit, bracket. And then I need KPMM, C2, number 4. Da, da, da. There we go. There's like 3 different ways I think you can get Nightbot to do it. Is Ravane certain? No. Dude, Zertan's gone. He's forgotten us. We don't have enough centaurs to keep him entertained. Alright, anyway, off we go. So, Kokatown. He's doing it. We were just discussing this, actually. The Shinobi meta is, like, maybe being slept on a little bit right now. The thing you have to keep in mind with, like, Shinobi is that they used to be really good, and they stopped being built because people started going Dark Age Rax Rush. However, Dark Age Rax Rush, I don't want to say it's dead, but it's very much less desirable for Japan now. Outside of the saving of 75 wood, what do you get now? You can maybe harass some early resource, but there's no longer a deer shove meta, which was one of the biggest upsides of Japan doing that opening. Right? And a civ that needed food. Now, you can hear by what I just said, the negative of what you're doing here is like you're putting yourself in a position where you're going to have less food. You won't have the farms. So this is a bit risky, but Recon's doing it the right way. Shinobi plus Horseman's really strong. You could have went for Yumi plus Shinobi, but you know this makes a lot more sense against the probable likelihood of like Longbow Limitane. Let's see if he's going to be able to be fast enough to do some damage with this. First Shinobi are sneaking in now. Berry gathering. Ravane has no vision on it, actually. So, like, if you get the timing right here with the jump in, does reveal himself, actually. Just casually walks in. Okay, interesting he did not want to commit the teleport there. Yeah, a little bit surprised by that. Guess he wants it as his get out of jail free card, but remember, the teleport doesn't disconnect archer shots following you, so it's not like it can save you from a TC kill. I like this. Just burn straight into the systems. There's nothing else for you to really hit right now. Production buildings have been wedged deep, and what is that? Ravane? That's different. Keshik's here. I mean, Lombo's still could have been good defensively, but this is a really different direction to be taking it. Keshik contract could be dangerous as well, considering the way it locks you in here. Like, Keshik plus eventually Gulam into Japan feels a bit wonky upon Castle Age. Recon is going to be going for the outpost rush, though. Yeah, it's interesting the way he's played this. Like, without the Rax Rush, you're essentially just doing a feudal Rax Rush, right? But the difference is your opponent hard commits to the Grand Winery, so you can now deny it. Keshik's are going to look for the dive in, but the Horseman... Recon, he had them stand ground there. Somehow it still works out. However, they're going to rotate around the back here. Shunshin on top of them. The Keshiks, they switch targets. That villager on 1 HP is going to go down, but he gets the outpost. The death tap there. Barely constructs it, but it's still a -2 workers situation for Recon. He gets his outpost, sure, but it comes at a high price. Yeah, dishes out just as much damage, though. Now Ravane without the olive oil to get any extra mercenaries. It's a painful position to now find himself in. That means he's going to have to go for your bog standards. Archery range plus the rats. The good news is he is economically ahead. And with assistance, even more so. Yeah, the thing that's going to matter here is sheep. 9 sheep isn't crazy. He's got triple gram winery olive oil from the olive groves. So there'll be a gradual play into more mercenaries, but it's going to take quite a bit of time. And Recon apparently doesn't know when there's too many shinobi, which makes sense. Like, if they're really good shinobi, you wouldn't be able to detect that they're even in the room, so there's no such thing as too many. I'd love to know your thoughts on how the game could go towards incentivizing feudal aggro more. I feel currently FC is too unpunchable as a whole. Deer being changed further. Less deer on maps, different food types, and less food underneath your base would encourage more feudal aggro. There's already a decent amount of feudal aggro, but ultimately, a mixture of pro scouts and sheep under your TC is why Fast Castle feels so safe. If you take those tools away, you will essentially guarantee more feudal presence than you've ever seen in the past. Now the sneaky Yuumi. Alright, so let's 2x speed this a little bit, as we have got an upcoming Lucifer series to get to. As fascinating as I'm finding this. So Ravane, Limitane plus the archers starting to scale up. But this comp just looks so wrong, man. It's going to probably feel wrong as well. Especially now that you've been forced into Limitane. Like, your opponent's going to blob Yuumi. Before, you would have had better archers with longbows or javelins to contest that. Ravane is trying to castle up. But remember what we said about his food. He's got only 3 sheep left. This isn't going to be exactly what I call a powerful tech timing. Recon's been doing this a lot. Yeah, I've noticed it with different civs. I mean, it's very reminiscent of Age of Mythology, in fairness. Golden Horn Town now coming, though. Ravane did somehow get the olive oil together in the end for an extra group of Keshiks. Level 5 system means he's going to be pumping out these boys pretty quick. I do worry that Recon is waiting too long for the Yuumi. Yeah, because remember, Yuumi are going to be most impacted by this change in a negative. With heavily armored units coming out, they're going to register basically no damage in these fights. Still, Shinobi, I think, are meant to be his clutch up here. Is like, you know, he uses the Yuumi to kill the archers, and then the Shinobi to kill anything armored. Because remember, the armored unit's going to be melee, and Shinobi do get a lot of bonus damage via melee. Well, a lot of base damage anyway, right? 26 damage in total per strike. Ravane. Tech up complete. He queues up the Varangian, but nice burn here. Recon's just going to try to deny what he can. Ravane doesn't really want to be fighting right now. You want to try and wait out for the veterancy. Instead, he rushes out. Protective over the system. A little bit odd, actually. Like, you know, you don't have veterancy on the Keshiks. Your archers aren't that threatening yet. The Shinobi are a bit ambitious with that dive, however. Yeah, remember, for Recon, it's critical he doesn't let them die. That's his answer to the Varangian. Horsemen now dive on in. Yuumi with the final trade out, just sacrificing themselves to get rid of the spears. And Ravane. This game is starting to look pretty uncomfortable. He snuck out onto the deer through the other side of the wall. That was pretty smart. Yeah, because Recon, he can burn through, but it's going to take him time, and that's time you can buy to walk around the other side. But Recon needs to be quick about identifying what's happened here. This is the only food source that Ravane has. Without this, he starves. Now remember, Ravane isn't safe over here. Like, actually, Recon can get here much quicker if he just uses the teleport right now. Kind of a missed opportunity, actually, because you're allowing Ravane to probably gather about an extra 200, 300 food. 400 food, easily, with that many, than he should be. Yeah, this is not a pretty look, actually. So Ravane ends up getting about 500 food extra, shall we say? Varangian pump's now going to continue. Yuumi? Now, hold on. Surely not. Oh my god, he doesn't realize. Ravane, this is losing him the game right now. This is more important than anything else happening, but he doesn't realize it because of the raid on the north. Recon, he's under the TC. Ravane, still no reaction. Oh my god, he finally realizes. Recon now ahead by 6 workers. He's got good map control still. The Varangian count is going up, however. Is that enough to convince him to age up? He's definitely heavily impacted Ravane. I mean, even with the assistance, remember, Ravane actually doesn't have much of his economy buff. Like, most of it has moved to the food out of range. So he really is just starting to feel a little bit behind. And the Yuumi again. This can't keep happening. Oh my god, I feel bad for him. Guys, do you want to know why Ravane keeps losing villagers here? It's very obvious when you think about it for a second. It's the outpost. This outpost, look at the pings on the minimap. He just thinks it's the outpost attacking the Grand Winery, so he's not reacting to it. Got too many other things he has to panic about, like this. Ranjian get massed on by the Shinobi and the Horseman. Archer's going to get target fired down. Remember, Shinobi are your MVP here. They'll beat the crap out of the angry Vikings. Ravane, I think, has been beaten to death at this stage. Good lord, the Yuumi again. Oh, man. Just 1 or 2 Shinobis all it takes. I'm impressed, man. Like, this has been really cool to watch, this feudal aggro. We see more feudal aggro these days from Japan, but the way he's played it has been quite creative. Shinobi massing kind of died off a while ago, and I was gutted by it. You know, I think it is subtly a broken unit in the right situation. You know, it's not a catch-all type unit, but if you get the right game for it, Shinobi can just break open any type of an opponent. And I think Ravane in some ways maybe set himself up for that with this choice. You know what, guys? If you want to set yourself up for a good choice in life, click that link! That's right, Ravane, the problem right here is that his villagers aren't working hard enough or fast enough. The issue is that Ravane's villagers are operating on an old-school Intel Pentium dual-core processor. If instead they updated to a 9000 series Ryzen CPU, they would not only be able to render themselves in full 4K, they would also be able to gather quick enough that Ravane would be having triple the current Varangian count, allowing him to defend his base. This is the problem. Ravane cheaped out. He shouldn't have brought those knockoff CPUs. Instead, he should have trusted AMD. Now everyone's trying to imagine how you plug a motherboard and a CPU into a villager. Do we just solder it onto the back? Recon, now with the age up as well. I mean, this looks pretty over. 2x speeding it a little bit just because we've got a game to get to live between Lucifer and Lash. But I don't really see how Ravane is ever getting away with this now. I mean, the other thing that's quite annoying is Yuumi versus Ranjian. Yuumi is surprisingly effective, because these Varangian just have 15 less health than standard men-at-arms. Oh my god. And the Berserk choice is an immediate regret. He Berserked against Yuumi. Oh, what? I can't believe what I just watched. Was that a misclick? That must have been a miss. No. Guys, Yuumi kite you way too well for Berserk to make sense. Like, you're talking about feudal Yuumi one-hitting. That shouldn't ever be happening against Varangian. Oh, talk about a gift. Oh my goodness. Well, after all this constant raiding, we now have Recon up by even more. Look at this, a 13 worker lead. Ravane barely got any food left here after all this hard work to try and retain it, but the farm count is at least looking good. He's up to 17. Love this from Recon. He's still just pocket economy. He's doing everything in his power to resist a transition. He knows it would kill his momentum right now. However, if he Yorishire drops... Yeah, there we go. He already done it. If Yorishire drop the TC, you can start to just plump up your villager lead to be able to afford farms. And the Onimusha switch up is exactly what I was expecting. Just thought it'd be quicker. I didn't expect him to mass 40 Yuumi. Remember, Onimusha is the perfect answer to all of this. Like, actually, I think that the Ravane's choice to go for East Contract, this could possibly be the worst matchup to do East Contract into. Now, normally the problem with the Eastern Contract, guys, is you get hard counterplayed by crossbows, right? Your first unit, the Keshiks, get countered by crossbows. Your second unit, the Ghulams, get countered by crossbows. You then don't want to go for Ranji either because crossbows. Well, Japan, you know, quite often we kind of criticize the Onimusha for feeling a bit flimsy in crossbow and crossbow fights. But when your opponent goes for this type of contract, Onimusha are a high value because they're a crossbow that can never be caught, right? Even the Keshiks can struggle to gap close Onimusha. Whereas Keshiks, if there's enough of them against normal crossbow scaling, can deny them. Can't really say the same when you're up against the horseback ladies. Would you like to see Japan get a building that can make you shinobi regardless of the landmark choice? I think I've talked about this before, that like I think you should be able to build shinobi out of your castle. Especially considering you can't access your castle until Imperial Age. I think that's pretty reasonable. Shinobi should be accessible in upgraded TCs and castles. And then you maybe occasionally will see them used in the late game. It's like a trash spammable unit. They are high DPS. Oh, that's another dive. Ravane, this area has been killing him all game. A 20 worker lead for Recon. Ravane would need a miracle fight here. It's just always these farms, man. And unfortunately for Ravane, it's not the type of farm set up where you can wall it in, right? There's no tree line on this west side, just open ground. So Recon is just going to wait back a little bit while he starts to set up the farm transition. After all, Onimusha Wave is going to remain effective here. We have got Limitane now being laid in by Ravane a little, but feels very late, actually. I get that he's up against Yuumi and didn't want to do this, but it kind of felt like he needed a few Limitane camping on the farms the whole time. We are finally going to be saying sweet, sweet farewell to that outpost. But fair to say that it achieved a lot in this game for Recon. I'm going to go for the 4x speed here, because I know Lucifer and Lash is getting ready to begin. Recon... I mean, I think you just reinvest all these resources and push, right? Like, your only weakness here is if you let Ravane sit here on level 5 system, he'll gradually, like, catch up a bit. You've got good map control, you secured 3 of the 5 relics, sacred sites mostly attainable. Army value says it's similar, but I don't feel like it's similar, really. Ravane. See if he can prove similarity here. He's going to be committing out. Yeah, I guess he's just feeling uncomfortable. Like, the longer he sits here, the worse it gets. Maybe he knows about the Yorishiro drop TC. It's become quite a normal play these days. And now the Mount Samurai commitment in. These are the scary boys. They're hard to beat. The Uma Bannerman buff, they're so fat. They're so stacked on damage. Onimusha micro away from the Varangian. We'll be able to snipe them down. Not the most ideal micro. Recon just standing his ground with them, but screw it. He wants to get ready to counter dive. Yuumi now moving into the crossbows. The Mounted Samurai have been cleared, yes. But now it's going to be Yuumi to bog down the crossbows and run them out of town. Get tail end of the fight. Turns into a complete wash. And remember, Yuumi are so quick that crossbows will never get away from this now. So Onimusha plus the Yuumi for the win. As Ravane is going to get flashbacks to the times of Shinobi. This has been a blast, man. We just don't really see Shinobi play anymore. And I, for one, welcome it, man. It's a cool thing to witness after it being dead for so long. Okay. Awesome. So, I was keeping an eye on it. Our draft is now completo. And we should be getting ready for Lucifer and Lash in a moment. So, bear with me. Yeah, they only like set up the draft, I think, 2 or 3 minutes ago. Maybe it's 5. So, good thing we did actually find a quick game to cast. Otherwise, we'd be a little bit Utsuki on content. Okay, so mark that in. Lucifer versus Lash. And then after this, we should have Voldemar versus Sass. And people will be happy because now they get to Gamba. Wow. All right, nice. We've got 2 minutes. Oof. Just double checking someone. Give me a second. It's got some of my creators activating on a campaign, so I need to let them know. Oh, nice. I'll respond to that later. Yeah, just getting some of my other boyos on my roster on the AMD campaign. Ugh. Volt versus Sass is definitely a must-watch. Oh, yeah. Gonna be an interesting one. And I think that's only BO3, right? Yeah, I don't know if we'll have any quarterfinals today. Normally, quarterfinals is how we load up tomorrow. I think if players get good at scheduling, we might try and like explore BO5 round of 16. I just don't want to like overload the week for them, etc. You know. I almost forgot we need to update title, don't we? It's not up next. It's now live. All right, get predictions up. We're ready to go. This just in from the midweek muster. We're getting more and more popular as more and more of the absolute top pros in Age of Empires 4 take to our $20,000 esports circuit. Welcome back, Lucifer. It has been a while, but it is going to be a blast from the past. His return to our weekly competitions the week after his brother Vortex just thrusted the trophy. Yes, welcome back to the channel, folks, for HRE in the hands of Lucifer going up against Lash on the Ottomans. Map is going to be Danube Divide. This is a new map that recently got added to the game by a mod called Kevayu. Pretty cool map, actually. Looks like Mongolian Heights, plays nothing like it. There's no fish here to be found whatsoever. All primary golds are pushed to the north side, so you've got a lot of vitals here like the 8k and the relics. And most of your food is pushed far to the south, while your opponent is very close to your base. A lot of outposts around to give vision, and then finally these forgotten ruins that have become a focal point for a lot of Civ picks so far. We've been seeing Ottomans, we've been seeing Japan, we've been seeing Lancaster. Any Civ that has usage for this early stone, like Mongols as well, has been a high value pick on this map. HRE, a little bit different though. Yeah, HRE is weird to see on maps that have the Forgotten Ruins. Remember guys, the Forgotten Ruins generate stone with a villager inside. But after 6 minutes, they turn into a relic. So why does that make it a weird map for HRE? Because HRE loves rushing castle. They love getting relics. You can't get relics if they're sitting underneath this. You have to harvest this first. Yeah, it's kind of curious actually that he made this choice. I mean, looking at his draft, he had a few options, right? He could have went for... No, those are all terrible for this map. Okay, that makes a lot of sense then. So, yeah, a little bit of an odd draft. I thought we might see something like Lancaster as a reserve pick here. In fairness to him, early economy is going to be better than Ottomans, right? Like, you can spam more spears. Also, you can actually win on micro because your spears can gap close. You do want to be careful not to play too long of a Dark Age here against Ottomans, though. This is a matchup that starts off better for HRE, gets worse as the Dark Age continues. Because eventually, the Ottoman player is going to get this Imam point. With healing, you end up losing. And yes, there is still 4 relics on the map, but 4 is less than 5. Right? Like, so if your Civ's whole goal is to play around Fast Castle, you're devaluing yourself when you play maps where the relics are locked behind. There is more relics on this map than the standard one. There's 6 instead of 5. But with 2 of them being conditional upon you capturing and converting in Forgotten Ruins, it tends to just devalue FC Civs. In fact, the fact that you're getting stone as well tends to reward civs that can utilize that stone in the early game. The other thing to keep in mind that makes it a bit rough for HRE is these Forgotten Runes. One of the big desirables isn't just the fact they generate stone, it's the amount of stone they generate. 60 stone per minute is actually quite a lot for one villager. But when you play HRE, you have a 35% resource buff. So you don't actually benefit that much compared to many civs from using Forgotten Runes. Like, let's say a normal villager would gather 30 stone, right? 35 maybe. Well, you get a 35% buff by default. So you're getting an extra, what, 10 resources? You're up to 45. So the difference is not that big, right? For a standard civ, it's almost double. For you, it's like a 1.5 better gathering rate. Wait, did my mods not set up predictions? Oops. I thought they were here. How dare they have a life? You're going to have to be quick. So Lash is going to tech up first. I mean, Lucifer won't be too far behind him. This feels like a great game for mine work, by the way. Yeah, I really do rate mine work in these type of situations because actually, if you have mine work as HRE, you have a lot of tools in your arsenal to contest the Ottoman field timing. You've got the all pikes for the extra damage to beat them outright on both spear and match them on horsemen. But also, even just the archers, rushing steel arrow is invaluable in this type of matchup. Especially considering that Lash might struggle to access gold. Okay, but wait. It is going to be Arkin. Okay, so he chooses to go just the safe route. I guess in fairness to him, something to consider is on this map, your starting berries are 8, not 6. So that's an extra 500 food that you've got a gather speed buff on. Is it possible Lucifer's considering pro scouts? I'd be a little bit shocked. There isn't that much deer. There's, what, 12 on each player's side. So a little bit less than standard Dry Arabia. But in fairness, I feel like a lot of civs on this map so far have neglected the deer. And of the 12 on your opponent's side, only 3 of them won't really be attainable, right? Because one starts basically in the enemy base. Check out complete, Lucy. Not too far behind. He's already stockpiling. This might actually be FC. 3 on gold doesn't look like it, though. What's he saving up for? We don't have a mill, right? So not pro scouts. Also means not wheelbarrow. Could this be fast castle macro? Maybe, with the deer pull as well. The deer pull is curious because he set up the Archon. And we got 10 onto wood. I'm kind of strong to believe this is just straight up FC, but it could be that he's worried about needing the wood for like a stables to begin the age. I'm just not sure why you'd want to begin with stables. Like, what might have made sense here is some men at arms against spears. But at that point, just build archers, right? It's the better choice. No, I think we actually do have FC, guys. Yeah, shifts across to the berries now because he's ran out of sheep. No, wait, it is pro scout. Okay, like, I am a bit weirded out in the order of things here, man. He was holding a lot of food. And in fairness, he makes it optimal by moving out of the mill. I wonder if it would have been better to get survival techniques first. But the thing you have to remember, guys, is that Lucifer is going to be pulling these deer back into the buff range. That's a really big increase. Right, that takes you from close to 1 up to like 1.3. The difference that the Archon Chapel makes on gathering on deer is the difference between gathering between boar or gathering on berries. It's huge. I just wasn't sure he'd take the nibble. This might be the second time we've seen pro scouts. I think before it was Mongols. It was just a very different style and approach. A little bit dangerous though. If Lash realizes what's happening here with Sipahi, he can block the pro scout play. And yes, we've talked about Order of the Dragon before. Order of the Dragon is hyper debuffed. It's why I don't think you're really going to see OTD taken seriously on maps that have a focus on Forgotten Runes. Which is kind of unfortunate because Order of the Dragon is one of those civs that seems kind of 2TC viable these days. This one just going around the back. Lash has hunkered down, has archers now on the way. I don't actually think Lash knows that it's pro scouts. Survival Techniques is now coming in for further buff. And Lucifer is going to look to get an outpost up. A good positioning. Lash with the Fortitude. Going to be able to net himself a kill and maybe even get a second here. Lucifer. Yeah, that was outrageous. That attack distance was disgusting. From here. You guys saw that, right? Here to here. I'm surprised he was still holding on to the spear afterwards. Outpost will also be denied. Lucifer floating a lot of wood. I mean, for what? Like, surely some farms would make sense here. And we have got to pivot into archers, but it's just so much wood. Maybe double archer range? I'm just not sure if you want to be blobbing double archer range against Sipahi. Man pull now from Lash. Man, things are looking really good for the German. I think he's played this phenomenally well, and Lucifer may be playing it a bit too greedy. Definitely far from over, because also the Pro Scouts play is now pulling, and you're not denying it, right? But if Lash can just wedge himself on this one tree line, I mean, Lucifer just has nothing to gather with. The Archon's going to be worthless. And that was an ambitious archery range placement. E-repairs is available, though. I'm wondering if this was somewhat intentional by Lucy to draw attention. Because he can repair this for quite a while, right? Emergency repairs are going to buy him some time. But we just don't have more blacksmith, more production rather coming out. Blacksmith play is interesting. Like Undermesh just kind of a given here. But the problem is Lash is already ahead of you on that regard. Steel Arrow comes through. And this is why I usually like mind work on these more aggressive maps. Just lets you beat your opponent to the punchline. Instead, it's going to be him just following in tandem behind. Because I imagine Lash, now that he sees archers, I mean, Undermesh is just a no-brainer, right? No? Okay, he's got 3 on gold. Yeah. So he should have it coming in the next 20 seconds. What's interesting is Lucifer just isn't hiding anything that he's doing. You know, usually you like this idea of hiding part of your comp and revealing it, surprising your opponent, but he hasn't at any stage tried that really, right? Maybe just felt like it was kind of futile with the pressure coming in on him. Lucy. He's rushing castle, isn't he? Yeah, he pulls 6 on the gold. I like that idea, though. I think, you know, your opponent's going to keep scaling Sipahi, and that gets pretty scary for you. Especially when you're playing on, like, finite food. You know, you don't know how many deer you're going to get in at this rate. So better just kind of, like, attach yourself to this idea of heavily armored units. Like, I would have loved to have seen him prep some more men-at-arms, actually. In prep for the castle. And this is from that extra food just being pumped into horsemen. Ballsy choice up against Sipahi. Sipahi that are now reaching into the base. Lash. This could be big. Lucifer. Quick reaction. And Lash, he failed to commit the Fortitude. No. Missed opportunity there. Activates it towards the tail end, but far too late. Wait, what? I say far too late. Somehow he gets 3 worker kills. 2 get caught near the TC. The third one was a fresh spawn. So props to him. I mean, that looked a bit shaky. I don't think that was the cleanest from Lash. Probably could have got more with an earlier Fortitude. But still, you don't turn your nose up at that. Especially considering in this game so far, we've got Lucifer, a Master Raider, getting raided. Very much struggling to find any return damage. Spies are so insane. Yep. Kind of wish we had more units like it. Lucifer now edging up behind this while going on the offensive. Lash is bringing the army home, though. Yeah, but his army isn't that large, really. No, it just kind of shows you the ridiculous power of HRE economy, right? The fact that he's teching up while mirroring army count. Even after losing 4 workers. Even after taking that hit. Even after Lash done more damage in this game so far. And remember, guys, relics on this map are all northern bound. So if Lash wants to intercept, that's at least easy, right? You steer to the north side, you wedge yourself in the way, you stop your opponent from picking up the goodies. Yeah, the tricky part, though, is because Lucifer played Pro Scouts, now it becomes really powerful. Because if you're steering north side to block relics, it means all the remaining deer, Lucifer's going to get for free. So you have to pick your poison here. You stopping gold or stopping food? And that's where that interesting map dynamic comes in. Spy go for a punt at it. Veterancy for archers is on the way, and Lucifer has queued up the first knights. I think Lash needs out of this age now. And he's rushing the gold to get there. Yeah, keep in mind on this map, you don't have much gold in your base, though. 1,600, 1,600. Less than a standard spawn dry Arabia. As you can see, Lucifer's already tapped one of those. And he will look to be picking up those relics. So remember, this is going to go a long way because of the aforementioned gold limitation. Regnit's relics are going to be huge here. Another dive in. Lash gets caught gathering the gold. It's now obvious what he's doing. Imams need to be protected to provide that heal. Horsemen dive a little bit too deep. Will be pushed away. There's a backstab attempt by the Sipahi, but mirrored by the spears. Yeah, Lucifer is not going to make it that easy to get an entry kill. And archers being vetted up are pretty effective against anything here. Spearmen, they get the static fight. The Sipahi aren't pulling away from Lash. There's a risk they're going to die a bit too fast, actually. Yeah. Spearmen, they may not be veteran, but they're good enough. Sipahi down just 5. And the knights, they're going to take a while to kill. Now, the archers have been brought down by the town center, but we're entering a phase where Lash only has archers left against castle-age knights. And that's going to be the chief concern here, is you don't have a way of protecting your workers entirely. Villagers now just getting idled out or killed. While Lucifer keeps harassing, remember what he's able to truly achieve here. A bigger and bigger lead elsewhere. Pro Scouts still has a little bit left to do, as do the prelates on the north. Let's not forget that Lash, through all of that, still hasn't aged up. Yeah, I think Lucifer was trying to catch him as he began the age up. Unfortunately, dove just a little bit too soon there. But still, that's not a bad thing. You know, your opponent's not going to be rushing out of the base in this state. It's going to be hiding at home, which allows you to get bigger and bigger wins here. Still, a bit disappointed by this, Lucy. We never saw him gathering from the Forgotten Runes. He could have easily had that relic to deposit as well. And the stone is useful, by the way. Like, you're at risk of getting counterattacked because of the damage you've done. So that stone's very powerful in Spring replacements. Lash is going to scout out that prelate. Fortitude means that you can't really wall low either. That's so tilting as well. He's so close to actually having it home. Pro Scouts is almost done, by the way. He never picked up the last 3 deer. I don't think Lucifer realized. No, he sees it. And I see your Prime sub. Thank you very much, Red Darksider. Welcome back to the Swarm. Welcome, one and all. Remember to get those subs in always. Hop across on the Twitch side. Join us for live streams. Drop a sub. And support us on our journey. A long journey it's going to be. This is only week number 4. How many grey hairs am I going to have by the time we finish Season 2 of Midweek Muster? Probably too many grey hairs. You guys remember how, like, youthful and spry Nearly looked? And how quickly the grey hairs came in from all that tournament organizing? Bless him. I'm impressed the rest of his face didn't really age that much, though. He just went to his grey phase. Like, so, I think it was someone shared a picture of him the other day. I was like, oh, damn. Like, in the face, Nearly hasn't really changed. Oh. Neither is Lucy. After all this time away, if there's one thing he loves doing, it's raiding. And here comes that raiding party. Jumps onto the tree line. Lash! Cardinal sin here. No wheelbarrow. Wow, what a hit. Straight away, gets his hands on, what, 5 extra kills there. Just walks out like it's nothing. He's not done yet. Lucifer on multifaceted raids. Hops in on the other side. Finds another 3. Make it 4. Out of time on top of that. I think this is starting to unravel. I mean, up until now, Lash looked like he was at least posturing to compete. There's no lie about it now, though. This Lucifer game is out of control, right? Like, we're talking about 60 knights. You don't have an answer to that. On top of that, even if you did, Lucifer's so far ahead, he could just switch farms now and play for Imperial. The world really is the Spaniard's oyster. You think people in the Pokemon world say the world's your cloister? No one ever thought that before. Like, wait a second. How does Lash get out of the hole? You could play mass outpost with fortifications. Extensive fortifications would be pretty effective. The problem here, though, is your opponent is just too far ahead economically, that if you go over turtly, he'll just go greed. So really what Lash needs is raids. So his best bet is Sipahi attacking the enemy eco. It just seems like he doesn't have enough spearmen to feel safe with that, right? Like, if you send the Sipahi, who protects the archers? Then again, the archers really aren't worth much anyway. I don't know. This looks like your head's in a headlock, right? Villager tries to vacate the area, gets permanently evicted. Lash gradually scaling into the Janissaries. I believe this is not even passively, maybe just a misclick there. I don't think you want them here, not against this many archers. Mango gets sacked. I think it cost him a spearman to get that kill as well. Yeah, I mean, the idea behind Janissary makes sense for Lash until you realize he doesn't have gold control to do it. He has now snuck the south side to try and fix that, but even then, it's not just knights you're dealing with, it's knights archers. So Lash desperately needed those mangoes to work out to deal with this, because this is now going to be the thing that kills him, because he can't kill these. Nice quick recharge there by Lucy. And Lash, if he backs up any further, it's going to be dive onto that tree line again. Constantly getting idled out to the tune of a third of his economy, by the way. Lucifer's just not going to go for these relics, it seems, which is quite funny. I'm sure he knows how the mechanic works, right? Like, he must do. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. But yeah, he could get a 6 relic HRE game, which is pretty broken. Doesn't seem like he's going to. Instead, though, he's going to get that raid! The masterful raider has returned, and he knows exactly where he's at. The scout was there snitching the whole time. Lash gets caught. His wings will get clipped, no doubt about it. Lucifer will lock in game number 1. Lash, props to him for that early game presence. I mean, the Sipahi play at the beginning looked like it was going to get him ahead. Just felt like he didn't have a way of keeping that pressure up consistently. Now, despite these early timings, thinking about going in for things like the imams, going in for that early meta pull, it just didn't seem to pay off. Lucifer, yes, got caught in a panic, being maybe a bit too greedy with pro scouts. He found a way to come on through. And yeah, this time Lash's little raid on the back is not going to be as impactful. There's already knights following him. Gets one worker kill, but good luck with the rest. So, good start to the week for Lucifer's return into the competitive. And this is a crazy bracket, by the way. Keep in mind that Lucifer is on the same side as his brother Vortex, our current champion of the midweek muster. Scary thoughts start to emerge. Brother on brother murder. But not before it's murder on the Ottoman dance floor there. Several villagers go down. Lash, at this point, man, there's no shame in throwing the towel. It's 26 workers to 63, man. Like, just get that tiny little raggedy flag that's left over and start waving it around. Like, take your scarf off and just fling it in the air. Lash seems to have watched too many of those movies where the guy gets beaten up, just keeps getting up. Like, I think Lash has been watching too many anime, you know? At the end, they always come through for the power of friendship. But I don't think the Ottoman army has enough friends left here. GG. Game number 1 gives us a pristine reminder of why this man right here was considered a legend amongst raiders. Good start from Lucifer. Powerful start. That might be an uploadable game. The legendary raider returns. That could work. All right. Not enough friendship in 1v. It would be brothership. Brother... Siblingship? Brotherhoodness? Sure. Anyway, HRE gets the win over Otto. Which, you go back like a year, that was kind of like just the expected thing to hear said. Nowadays, I think that's a lot more surprising. Just because Ottomans has become a lot more high value. Game 2, we're going to Cliffside. It's going to be Lancaster versus Rus. Yeah, both the Spanish bros highly believing in the power of this Rus pick on Cliffside. It's interesting because I feel like for other players, it's maybe fallen off in popularity compared to where it was. He said bribe Vortex to turn the router off. I think the Canadians have baited you into thinking that all brothers live together. That's not how it works. Oh dear, oh dear. By the way, guys, reminder, click that link. !AMD is going to pop up any minute now. And when it does, you need to click it. Or you just type !AMD and it'll pop up now. We're working with AMD throughout the week. It's an awareness campaign. You guys need to learn about the Ryzen CPUs as well as the amazing free access setups that you can buy over at Scan. So be sure to click through the links and check it out. They'll be with us throughout the week. Whenever you see these campaigns running, a lot of them are awareness-based. I mean, if you want to buy, go ahead. It makes me look even better. And you should buy, by the way. The 9800X 3D should be the go-to one for plenty of you gamers. I'm sitting up here looking pretty with my 9950X. Although I'm jealous of anyone who currently has a 9950X 3D. I need to talk to my AMD guy about getting hooked up with one of those. I really should. Things are incredible. Yeah, and you guys have like seen the performance I've been getting in games. I mean, we were playing Battlefield 6, which is very, very hard to like play at high settings, maximum frames, and we were just nailing it. So definitely highly recommend those CPUs. Magic, Puppy Paw, and Wham all live together? I don't think they all live together. They live close, I think. Puppy Paw and Wham, I believe, live together. But, like, you know, they're their own individuals. Yeah, just to clarify something, like, not all brothers live together. They're their own individuals. They don't sit in a bunk bed together braiding each other's hair at the end of the night. But they might be braiding each other's hair and slaying each other if this continues on. Welcome back to the Midweek Muster. We're here in week number 4 where Lucifer is up against Lash in the opening rounds and is already an early lead for the Spaniard. That's right, he's up 1-0 in a best of 3. And what makes this interesting is when you look at that side of the bracket, he could go all the way and end up facing off against his own brother. It's all too familiar sight in Age of Empires 4. Actually, I don't know what it is. I feel like Puppy Paw and Wham avoid each other in brackets a lot more than Vortex and Lucifer do. Maybe it's just historically because Vortex and Lucifer, especially in the early days, had deeper runs. But fair to say Lucy versus Vortex has become a signature sight in Age of Empires 4, and one that has been resoundingly about quick and aggressive games. But let's see if this is going to be quick and aggressive the other way. Lash with Lancaster goes for a spear opening. Lucifer is going to be able to scout it early. Oh, that is such a greedy hunting cabin. What? Oh my god. Boromir over here just couldn't resist temptation. Are you kidding me? It's so ridiculous. Against Lancaster, a spear spamming Civ, he goes for a hella greedy hunting cabin. Luckily for him, Lash is steered towards the base, but he should get suspicious. When you see a hunting cabin like this, first indication, the other one's out of TC range. There has to be, otherwise it's suboptimal. So Lash is going to check around the back here. He doesn't know about this tree line just yet. The second spear should really be going west here. Right? Especially now that you don't see a hunting cabin here. This is where, like, alarm bells start to go off. Not true, you and your brother used to braid hair all the time. Yeah, but, like, Vortex is bald. So what happened? Did Lucifer braid hair too hard? Questions that need answering. Like, why the hell are we not checking for that hunting cabin? Does he think it's just one hunting cabin? It's possible. So here's the thing. Like from Lash's perspective, this would make sense to contest, or rather avoid, House of Lancaster Dark Age aggro. But this is the difference that Vision makes. From our perspective, Lash looks like a bit of an nincompoop. He's not. He just doesn't know. Right? He's treating this with respect that logically, because Lancaster opens most games with Dark Age Rush, Lucifer must not have built the second hunting cabin. Lucifer has just been revealed with that wall. Lash, I don't think he's looking at it. It's just getting weirder and weirder. Yeah, Burn comes in now, but far too late. Lucifer has just gotten so much value out of this already. And this is why I think you're a bit frustrated if you're Lash. Like, you invested into 4 spearmen. And there was a hunting cabin just sitting there all along that you could have tapped. I can't believe that greedy play worked out for Lucifer. And it really was greedy, guys. Like, look at the TC range. There was nothing, absolutely nothing to stop Lash just walking in here or here. The TC wouldn't reach. So he could have just snuck in and burnt the crap out of this. Because also, it's too far away for a villager to repair. So there would have been nothing to protect this hunting cabin at all. And yet, Lash now gets full confirmation. Like, wait, what? Why is it? And that's been giving 20 gold a minute, by the way. I love this from Lash, though. If there's any map that kind of fits for this type of play, this has to be the one. Abbey of Kings now coming in. Reminder that this map, Cliffside, it's shorter distance to the enemy base. So it tends to reward aggressive players. And, you know, with the Lords of Lancaster, very powerful for aggression. Usually their weakness is they're way too slow to arrive. Not on a map like this. Yeah, all we need is Poppy Paw back playing KPMMs, and then we can have the Canadian bracket and the Spanish bracket, right? 20 is not that much. 20 is a lot at this early point in the game. I think like, when people see small numbers on a hunting cabin, like 20 gold or whatever, they usually forget the stage that the game has been built and then how quickly it's going to return value, right? Pro Scouts down the way from Lucifer. More scouts also being prepped. Lash. Tech up is now complete. Do we get a Hobbler beginning? We do indeed. There we go. Makes a lot of sense here. Lucifer has already been encouraged to go archers. Hobbler is going to be a great way of intercepting on the deer and also denying the archer play itself. And there's that link we talked about. Reminder people, always click the links when you see them. We do a lot of awareness campaigns for brands, and it does help us. I mean, seriously, though, you guys should check out those CPUs. If you haven't looked at the 9000 series. If you had someone the other day asking, like, I'm on the 5000 series, is it worth upgrading? And we checked the numbers, and I think it was, like, the performance increase over the comparative gen they had. With some games, was 30, 40% increase. Kind of crazy, actually, how far things come in just 1 or 2 gens. So Lash with Hobbler, it's a bit tricky to actually intercept quick enough here. You're seeing Lucifer's already snatching the west side deer. Not only that, we are going to be getting knights. Yeah, Lucifer had too much fun with them last game, not to do them again. We do have the stone down being gathered, so he's just getting the manners out of the way now while he can. Is he going to go back for the same one? He is. Yeah, props to him. Lash has done a good job of just diluting the risk by stationing a spearman, at least, on each of these sites. Now, he intentionally camps his bigger army on the close deer because if you go to the wider deer, you've got time to rotate. But this one is way too close to the base for you to react past the one spear. Hobbler are just going to chase past. So good denial. Slows down Lucifer. He's going to need more Hobbler if he wants to remain competitive here. That archer count is blowing up. Puppy got a job. Don't think he can play KPMM anymore. That's why we need to just keep getting more people tuning in so that we can build this bigger and bigger. Because as we build this channel bigger and bigger, the tournaments get bigger and bigger. And then we get enough money to the point that he can quit his job and just play video games. That's right. If not all players can build their brands to the point they can live off the money, we'll just have to build the tournaments to it. It's like securing the close to Lash's base. This should allow time for the army to rotate, though. Lord's definitely slow him down. It's going to be a bit tricky. It might be like threading the needle. I don't actually know. Wait, is he going to be quick enough? The tricky part now is, you know, Lucifer, as he gets these deer closer, even if he gets idled out, if he drops them and then goes back north, it just turns into a game of Benny Hills. Lucifer just desperately trying to sneak it past. Lash unable to commit, so it's going to work out. 9800 X3D is nice, but house won't renovate itself. True. Or instead, hear me out. Instead of renovating the house, you buy 9800 X3D, and then you render your house inside Unreal Engine at over 144 frames because you got a 9800 X3D, and it's cheaper. It's a pretty good deal. And then, when your wife is like, I can't believe you brought this CPU instead of renovating our house. We need somewhere to stay. You buy her a VR headset. And then she has somewhere to stay. I know. You're outraged you didn't think of this sooner. Exclamation mark AMD. Anyway, deer on the east side are coming back now. It's only 2 Hobbler, which isn't a great way of contesting this. It'll maybe slow it down a little bit. But remember, Lucifer does have knights. Yeah, and Hobbler do not have much HP. They're strong when they play with the Lords, ape strong together, but without them, it's a 100 HP unit. Which means the Knights, it's only a few split hits required to bring them down, right? The initial lance charge, basically 30 damage. I think Lucifer's close to having enough food home just to age up if he chooses. Tricky part is, like, right now he's not stockpiling okay, you know, he is. Wow. It's kind of crazy how hardcore the hunting cabins go, plus the food gathering. Because remember, when you gather food with the roost, you get some gold. To think that he has 6 tickets while scaling knights like this without touching gold at all. Yeah, reminder, this isn't just Roost doing Roost things normally where they don't touch gold. He's building knights and still getting away with never using mining. Also, it should be very easy for Puppy Paw to get the time to play in the tournaments, to get time off of work for Magic. You can be like, Magic, if you let me play the tournament, I'll coach you. Ah, there you go. Lash with a yeoman switch. Now that caught me off guard a bit. I wasn't actually expecting that. Yeah, because it doesn't resolve the knight issue that's scaling now. But also that means that Lucifer probably hasn't considered it. Doesn't mean his spear archer could get contested. And it also does give you a scale point here. Like, you look at the units the Lash has got. Yeomen have this really sick timing around Castle Age when you're at like 30, 35. So scaling them early isn't too bad. And in fairness to Lash, you kind of have to scale Yeoman early when you go with the Abbey of Kings build. Because normally, House of Lancaster get away with delayed Yeoman scaling because the Lancaster Castle, where they're able to pump out a bunch of them at once. You don't have that luxury. Another cool thing here is the extra health that the Lords give offsets the risk, the liability of this very expensive unit. The expensive raid knights. They do get in, and Lash It's a repeat of game number 1. Knights arrive and still no wheelbarrow. Painful memory to pick it up this time. High Trade House is on the way, so Lucifer about to be an age up. And I gotta say, folks, Lash's army doesn't really look like it's willing to commit to a full fight. Let alone will it be able to get one as Lucifer strikes down another 2 workers at the back end of the base. Which is doubly bad, right? Because now Lash is going to react there, which means he's camping at home. So he's not in position to do anything about this. Lash also just taking risks himself on the map. He has moved out to the Deers. I like this. It's one way of dealing with pro scouts. There's a good competitive way of doing it as well, because instead of just blocking an opponent from getting the resource, you taking it yourself makes it justifiable the way you invest around it. It also means you eventually don't have to guard it anymore. Like, if you just camp here, stopping pro scouts but not gathering it yourself, you'll always have to worry about them taking the deer. Now just going to wait for all the veterancies. Next up should be warrior monks. There you go. Monasteries on the way. Yeah, I think Lash is just being forced to overreact a bit here. At this point, he's just getting as far away from the enemy bases as possible. And it's not because he wants to be that far away. It's just he's not able to maintain a position that wouldn't lead to these knights reaping kills in the back. The good news, at least, is his deer gathering on the front side isn't being exposed. But the bad news is everything else following this up, right? Like, we're going to have a game where 4 relics is quite easily attainable for Lucifer here. The High Trade House, not going too ham here. 53 gold. Plus another 53. So 107 gold a minute's decent. So you guys are asking all the questions about puppy paw, but I feel like you always ask the wrong questions. The right question is, what happened to the rest of the puppy? Alright, that gives a more Monka-esque look on things, doesn't it? We just need Puppy Paw to turn up to an event wearing like a limb around his neck. You know, just kind of doing the Jaime Lannister. But with a dog paw. Alright, I'm gonna stop. That's horrific. Anyway, dive coming in. One of the knights did actually reach into the villages there, but ends up getting pinned in the end. So White Tower will complete. Yeah, Lucifer's dive unsuccessful, but still it's pushed Lash fully back in his base. Relics are starting to come home for Lucifer. And it looks like Lash is going to be in need of a lot more manners at this rate to contest. Wait, Lucifer? Oh no. Yeah, no, yes, the scout revealed it. Knights are going to move in. The outpost will not be able to protect these workers. Army's rushing across, but it's going to need to be fast. Remember, the torch damage is higher when it's cast laser units, so it's going to be way too fast to intercept. Villagers get pinned. He didn't even try to pull them away. -5 on the deer. And yeah, Lash realized. I like that he steered away. If he chased after that still, he would have been completely out of position. At least now there's maybe, just maybe, a counteroffensive. Looks like Lash is now playing for the extra manners as well. Ball plate makes a lot of sense. He needs it. Lucifer is ahead by 11 raw workers plus the relics. And the relics are going to start offsetting the mana effect. We dropped off. And that now just leaves the east side. Now that's good actually for Lash. Like, just the east side left alone means you can just kind of spread out across here and guard this area. Like, you've got the white tower to defend your base, really. Everything you need is on this east side. And he could even turn this into a relic snatch himself, really. Now it's going to be more manners. He didn't try to pull villagers away. Tower was surrounded. Yeah, but I'm going to teach you something amazing about the game. Outposts see very far, so he saw to here. He didn't try to pull away earlier. He didn't react quick enough. And then, when it's like fully surrounded, yes, he's dead. But there was a timing earlier where he could have tried to sneak off. He just didn't see it quick enough. Wheelbarrow, would they have a chance? I mean, are you just one of those people that's like futility? If a zombie apocalypse happens, you just stand there and go, eat me, or are you going to try to run away? Oh no. They're dropping bombs on my city. Ah, what's the point? City's going to get leveled. I guess I'll just stay here. Gotta believe, man. Need to watch more anime arcs. 4th relic now coming. Make it 5. Damn. Okay, this is brutal. Ball got denied. I'm not really seeing the way. I mean, Lash, if he was at least scaling the manners, you compete, right? But this just looks like he's stuck. The yeoman count is nowhere near that scary 35 blob where you just rain arrows from heaven. You know, the Hobolars aren't really threatening. He's now trying to build knights, which just feels questionable into roost knights and spears. To make matters worse, Boys 42 is also on the way. And the backstab comes in once more. This is just every single time here. Villagers are going to shuffle across to the gold. The only thing that's keeping Lash alive is the frustrating white tower defense, but that will be resolved soon as well. We have got forward play with the workers. Siege Workshop's already been dropped. Trebuchet's ready to play. This is the only thing standing between Lash and defeat. It doesn't feel like it's going to be standing long. Yeah, guys, of course zombies. We've got a new roguelike game mode coming. You don't think they're going to have zombies? You think they're just going to make us face normal things? Come on. Okay, like, I'm calling it out right now. Well, Zed, you have got the best opportunity ever to replicate a They Are Billions game mode in Age of Empires 4. Don't drop the ball. I mean, why not? I think it'd be kind of cool. People already try to replicate it by having civs operate that way. Just add in a few zombie units, you know? Alright, Trebs are here. Siege begins. And Lash is going farms. Yeah, this one's pretty cooked, guys. I think Lucifer would need to overextend in a really big way. And before, when he didn't have Trebs, you could imagine it. But now that they're here, this should just be a slow rollover and die. Zombie Civ and you're so down. I mean, think about the map designs you could do. Similar to They Are Billions. Just having people move out and find the chests. I really wish modders had more control with the mod tools. Because they'd make it. Someone would 100% make it. And it'd be incredible. What's the ratio of horsemen versus knights for horsemen to win? These horsemen? More than you can afford, my friend. Probably like 4 to 1. Lash, she's looking for that backstab on the Trebs. It's just not going to happen. This is the other nice thing about Cliffside. Easy choke points, easy holds. Lash goes in for the contest. Bunch of spear spammers in there, though. Just enough to bog him down. Now the Saint's Blessing coming through as well to juice everyone up. Lash's last stand is going to be a big fat L for the House of L's. I didn't think it was possible. All we do is Caster wins, but for once, Lancaster will lose. It's a miracle. G to the G, Mr. Lucifer. So that is going to be a 2-0 victory for him. One sec, my door just closed. It's so hot. It's annoying because there's a very refreshing, strong wind outside, but it's like hot as hell in here. So yeah, getting like the worst situation. What rank standing is Mr. Pigeon? Infinite. There you go. So, in terms of bracket, guys, we've now done, what, 2 series so far today? We have got Voldemar versus Sass coming up in half an hour. And then we're still waiting on a few of the other series to be scheduled. So we've done Numidan Myriad. That was a 2-1 for Numu. We could do Kilyadi Core. But we won't be able to do the full set. So maybe we save that until it's full set digest instead of just doing one of the games, is my thought. We could do one of the Deniska Mahodo games, though. So one sec, let me update this. B's games have not been played yet. I don't think he's scheduled them. We nudged them early this morning, but they haven't responded yet. So we just saw a 2-0 for Lucifer. Give me a sec, guys. I'm just manually updating this all. And then, what was the other one we done? No, that was it, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, here you go. I'll push it. Wham versus sort of. Yeah, that delivered last time, man. Whew. You know what the best part is? Whoever wins this SAS versus Voldemar, the loser can say, anyone can win a best of 3, right? Isn't that the mentality? Like, be a freeze a wild, etc., blah, blah, blah. Need to be a best of 5. All right, so let me get the draft for Deniska versus Mahodo. We can do a game from that. You wish we had best of 5 in round 16? The problem with that core is people need to get their crap together, scheduling. Last week we had nightmares of like delays, right? Where like, you know, poor Vortex was waiting for like, I think it's Kilyardi and Murad couldn't figure out a time that made sense. That delayed that entire part of the bracket. So like, that's fundamentally the issue with like having best of 5s in the round of 16 is like, I would love to, but I can't justify that until people prove themselves capable of scheduling everything on time. Right? And like this week, even there's a bit of a concern, like, will WAM sort of be able to figure out a time? I think they are working on it, bless them. But it's like, it's very difficult for them because they're 12 hours apart. People don't schedule in X hours, DQ them. That's the point we're getting to. Like, we've been quite lenient, but I've said we're probably going to have to start like full on smashing specific times with no mercy on. Because I feel like we have been quite lenient. In the past. One sec, I need to tell someone. Bro, why are you like, exclamation mark cables his ass. 36 hours is more than fair for the first series. I think we give them until the end of Saturday, right? Or was it Sunday? Like, I've been okay with round of 16s being resolved on Monday because then that leaves quarterfinals for Tuesday. But then if you're like that, like, semis needs to be reasonable if we ask you to do Thursday, right? Like, my preference I've always highlighted is we either have a semi-final happening on Tuesday or it happens on Thursday. That's just reasonable. So, 1 second. As I've got to get the game open. So, let me update this as well. We'll say up next. Voldemar versus SAS. And then, while we wait, we'll hop into one of the Deniska Mahodo games. And then the winner after this went up against Vortex. So, should be a fun one to check in on. Notice Roost used to be banned all the time, now it's not. Why is that? Oh, they lost a lot of their firepower. Pro Scout's meta's been nerfed pretty hard. I think also people still play pretty one-dimensional with Roost. That being said, like, I honestly think that Civ picks aren't that important below Conk level. Like, you can probably get Conk... Well, you can get Conk with pretty much any Civ if you play well enough. It's not a bad idea to commit to a Civ, to learn a Civ, to figure the game out. Versus, you know, hop, skip, and jumping Civs all the time is probably going to hurt you a lot. Where the hell? Oh, Deniska, I think, has been playing a bunch of scrims, so let me open Mahodo's. You can get Conk with Vils, pretty much. Like, if you hard commit to anything, just like, because the value of committing to a Civ to learn the game is like, you learn a lot more than if you keep hopping civs, because if you're hopping civs, you're learning the civs versus learning the basics of the game, if that makes sense. By the way, guys, reminder, that link, it just popped up. I just saw it. It looked beautiful, didn't it? Click it. We're going to smash this campaign, and then they're going to come back, offer us $1 million, and then we'll be able to increase KPMM to a $100,000 tournament. That's the goal. All right, that's maybe the long-term goal. But yes, reminder, we are working with AMD for the next few days. Every time you see that link, go ahead and click it. It's free. All right. This is going to be a fun one. We're going to 2x just the early game so that we're definitely not late for the next series. I don't know how long this one's going to be. We've got about half an hour. But here we go. A new pick on this new map for the first time ever. Welcome back to the channel, folks, for week number 4 of the KPMM Season 2. That's right, we're back here on Danube Divide, our default map for this week. We've seen a lot of Lancaster, but this is the first time that we're going to be seeing Iabids, which has been picked by Volda Esports Mahodo. An interesting pick, actually, to think about here. This is a map that's been rewarding a lot of aggression, and usually civs that utilize the stone, but I'm not really sure how Iabids come into that picture. Not a civ known for going Dark Age racks, which means you can't secure the Forgotten Runes, and not really a great use for stone in the early game either, unless you're thinking about some weird industry wing play. Niska on the other side, going for House of Lancaster makes a lot more sense here in the blue. Lancaster has been kind of a staple pick on these type of maps. With the Forgotten Runes, you generate the stone you need to get into manas later. We are just going to be on the 2x speed in the early game, just so that we can drift on through. Mahodo, did he get enough gold? Oh, honey, no, don't press that button. If he has the advancement, this is going to make you cry. Oh, he gets a villager! Deniska makes it look so simple. All right. That ain't a good look. There is gold on the north side, so Mahodo can just walk out here and needs to be fast about it. Did he scout it? He has. So yeah, if Mahodo just pulls 3 villages from the berries across the gold, he's fine. It's annoying because of the timings, but like you need to be doing it soon. Because right now you're floating away too much gold. Food, rather. Mahodo, please, don't tunnel vision this. Guys, the amount of time he's taking to try and access this gold, it's just like quicker to go north, right? Oh, wait. Oh, he was holding on to some. Okay, so he does get the drop off. Needs that final little trickle, and it's going to be in. So gold secure. Mahodo can begin his age up. But Deniska has to be pretty happy with this. You know, look at the state of things. He got a worker kill. His food gold's not too far off for going feudal himself. And he's already got enough stone to lock in a single mana. By the time he techs up, he should have enough stone for at least 2. Yeah, reminder, these Forgotten Runes, when you bank a villager inside, you get 60 resources a minute, stone specifically. Much better gathering rate than any normal villager will achieve in the early game without buffs. Growth Wing from Mahodo is at least going to offset the pain. But it also just feels sad in these positions because, you know, you've essentially lost 33% of the Eco Wing value with growth. Because you lost a villager, but you're getting 3, right? So instead of being 3 ahead, you're only 2 ahead. Oh, what? Wait, is he going to get it? Oh, he wasn't expecting that. He moved out to try and set up the lumber camp. Mahodo, a little bit of a misclick by the looks of it, actually sent his scout into the enemy base. Does back off in time. That would have been disastrous. You know, we're talking about a map where people can very easily play aggressive, so if you were riding blind with no vision, it could just end up losing the game on the opening. You know, reminder that, like, we're talking about a game that is about transitions. Right? Counterplay is very strong. And the risky part on a map like this, similar to maps like Cliffside, is like if you're this close to enemy base and you don't get vision of what the transition is, it can just swarm over you like a tsunami. Difference of this point of interest with or without villager, it does literally nothing if you don't have a villager inside. It is completely redundant. Does absolutely nothing. You only get the stone if you put a villager inside. You only progress towards a relic unlock if you put a villager inside. Why do you take it? Vision. It gives you a teensy bit of vision. Tech up complete. Mahodo, are we going to be opening archers? No, he goes stables. Ah, so he's just going to straight up fast castle then. Yeah, we've got the outpost coming up on the back. Deniska, I mean, this should just be mana spam, right? Like, he's already sitting 440 stone. Mate, you could have considered a 2 TC build with that type of income. Holy crap. Wait, what? Wait, why is Deniska actively gathering stone? In what world did we need more? Is he just going to rush level 2, level 1, level 2 mana? Maybe for the 2x speed for a moment here. Because I don't think this is an aggro game at all. This is a boom game. We're going to have fast castle versus mass manas by the looks of it. What the hell? Yeah, to be honest, like this whole discussion, like he allowed the gold here. Honestly, it shouldn't have mattered. I think Mahodo realized now is like, oh, I should have just went up here in the first place. You know, he took a lot of idle time trying to gather gold on the south side for no reason. But yeah, anchored in. Probably going to be looking at what? Dervish timing? You go culture wing logistics maybe? I don't know how I feel about what Deniska's doing here though. I guess going level 9 mana is not bad because of the immediate value of things like Muster the Nobles. Like, you can always just raid your opponent with those. I imagine this will have to be a white tower build with the way this is probably going to play out. I mean, his gold is secure on the front side. It's just not going to last very long. Desert Raider just being a little bit of an annoyance. Has to be careful not to get too close. Remember, the mana's attack, but also the villagers have short bows. And Mahodo... Huh. I was not expecting Desert Raider here. No, not with his current position. I mean, this is very greedy from Deniska, sure, but it's the type of greed that makes sense against the camels. Like, camel lancers would be brutal against this, but Desert Raider's not so much. No, you're seeing he's taking just as much damage as he's dealing here. Right, so we'll go 4x speed just until we're in castle now. Archer ranges are being prepped as well, so what, like archer plus camels? And well, that's an interesting white tower. I wasn't expecting it. No, I thought instead he'd set up the white tower back here to secure the gold and the deer. Instead, he's worried about just the frontal assault. So white tower will make him impenetrable on the manas. But the sad part is this is now you running out of gold, right? We're down to 150. It's going to be gone. The interesting part is, like, there might have been room to... Nah, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say there might have been room to, like, white tower drop the north side, but without wheelbarrow, plus the military wing, most definitely not. And we have got the lancers coming in. Demi-lancers have summoned. 8 of them in total. That'll be enough to scare away the dive attempt. Okay, so now what from Mahodo? Surely it's a mosque rush, right? Yeah, there we go. Because right now he's behind on economy. You know, despite the little growth wing advantage, it doesn't matter against 6 mana. So he needs to play for map control. While he has it, use it to get the relics. But the Demi-Lancers are going to be a nuisance for that. And we are going to be getting Spear plus Yo. Which makes sense. Spear plus Yo is the ideal counter force here. Demi-Lancers, what? What was Mahodo doing out here? Oh, man. Is he seriously out of food? No, he's got 13 sheep at home. He was just trying to spread it. You know, optimize eco. But what he forgot is that the south side of the map has so many outposts in it. And he got caught. In fact, to make it worse, it was the mill that got seen. You've got to be kidding me. That's crazy. If he had actually just built the mill on the north side, I don't think Deniska would have known. Absolutely brutal. I mean, you'll see it for confirmation in a second, right? Like, Earl's got to walk away. And look at that vision. That's ridiculous. He actually wouldn't have been seen at all. Raid on the backside. Nothing going to be found, but... That's just horrible, man. Like, the difference is literally just the mill placement that gives him away. Deniska has to be feeling cozy. Has he been skipping worker production, though? Free. Maybe a little bit. Unless he went textiles. Yeah, it looks like Deniska should be probably an extra villager ahead by the math, right? Like, Growth Wing is free. There's a 2.5 difference between them. 2.5. So it looks like Deniska did miss on worker production slightly. But it doesn't matter, guys. Who needs workers when you've got manners? So Mahodo is just really taking this the whole 9 yards, right? Like, Desert Raider massing. Into Yeoman, this is going to be absolutely atrocious. Demi-Lancers? Oh, God. No, Mahodo, no, please. Okay, the Seek Shuttle wasn't a complete grief. That could have been so much worse. I've seen things. I've witnessed way too many games. Camel-Lancers are going to show up enough to scare him away. Yeoman are a bit exposed. Demi-Lancers look to body block out. The Spearmen move across. Really, the key here for Mahodo is slowing down the Yeoman scale. The Yeoman are the thing that you're spooked of here, by the way, because the Desert Raider count, right? Like, Mahodo is still quite reliant on these. Camel Lancers haven't been able to take over. Wait, did he just get counterplayed by Village? He did. However, he got 4 worker kills with that hit. Great backstab coming out from Mahodo. Much needed one as well. I mean, double Desert Raider loss for 4 worker kills. I think that's okay. Especially considering that he's getting Desert Raiders for free every 2 minutes. What, pray tell, will Mahodo's next move be? We've got Manjaniques. Makes sense against the Yeoman scaling. Also, Manjaniques are fantastic at decimating mana spam. The tricky part is getting past these landmarks. Luckily, they've stockpiled together so that you can get the double whammy with the incendiary shot. Mahodo now also going for the Fort Relic, so he's at least making the gold there. Niska is looking to stab in, but a bit hesitant right now. He doesn't see what we see. A little bit surprised Deniska hasn't gone for the next mana unlock yet. Probably just feels a little bit threatened. He's showing a lot of respect to the camel threat. Like, you know, normally when you go Desert Raider Lancer like this, it's a timing attack. As Desert Raiders, they do scale phenomenally in the late game, but they're very weird in the castle point of the game. You know, usually you scale to stay ahead, but like it's a very fragile comp once your opponent gets access to things like Yeoman here. Also, once food is sorted, things like Mass Horsemen can be scary, Mangonels, etc. Manjanique shots. Are going to come in strong here onto the Spearman, just trying to make it easier for his Lancers to hold on. Might be easier said than done, though. Wololo will at least force a temporary retreat. Camel Lancers take advantage of that to recommit. Yeoman now sniping out the backline, which maybe should have happened a little bit sooner here. The Desert Raiders have actually been doing decent work. So Deniska will have to run away from the fight. A lot of Lancers were killed here, though. Why the fire? Because fire can't be dodged. The kinetic shot can easily be dodged, but the incendiary has way too much spread. That's really important against things like Yeoman. Yeoman are great at kiting you. They can just dodge with ease. And when you consider the amount of units you'll hit, like a Mangonel hit maybe, let's say, you know, best case scenario, 9 or 10 units. But the incendiary shot could hit 30 units. Yeoman going again. That's a little bit ambitious. Wait, Mahodo? Is that for the heal? Or is that a misclick? He does heal quicker while holding a relic. If so, that's kind of sick. Alright, weird fight. Deniska. I don't think that one was worth it. No, that one was incredibly expensive. Walks away with his tail between his legs, but luckily for him, he's playing Lancaster. They can always build more Yeoman. Yeah, he's still got the Shire point down the line. But color me impressed, man. Mahodo, this game looked like it was going to be a complete struggle. He's at least looking competitive here with this Manjanique build. Deniska may need to just slow it down. Maybe take a raiding approach instead. Now that it's mass Manjaniques, you don't really take a head-on fight very well here. You're probably wondering why Knights over Hobbler. Either one's going to kind of struggle. You know, like you're assuming it's going to be Camel Lancers. I think Hobbies could make sense if he could see what we see. Like Mahodo doesn't actually have much that does well against Hobbler. Villagers, he's trying to creep up these outposts. I wonder if Mahodo, I mean, wolves don't help you here, right? It might be worth considering just because the more you build Manjaniques, the more your opponent's going to have to react to. And wolves is a great way of stopping the obvious reaction of cavalry. At least I'm going to step up again. Incendiary shots. That's why incendiary, guys. If he'd done rocks, they would have been dodged. Odo also just starving gold away from Deniska. We can see he's only got the 4K down here now, right? Actually, no, he's got another one. Okay, yeah, so he's found access. I do wonder if they should maybe update this map, remove one of the golds down here and put another one north. Now, the scud begins. Yeah. One-tile buildings, incendiary is really sucky, but once you're at this size, super effective for killing. Reminder, this will immediately deactivate the manas for their attacks and also reduce their health, which is going to make the follow-up kills on the buildings a lot quicker and easier. Army is circling towards the base. He's trying to force a retreat. But there you go, 850 HP now. Now incendiaries melt the manas. Deniska looking to trade eco for eco here. He's like, you may kill my manas, but I will look to kill your workers. Spearman is slowing him down on the dive, though. Army will react. Manjanique's back away. He only kills the one mana. And the backstab's going to be real here. Camel Lances able to fall into the fight, and the Spearman count looking healthy at 12, but maybe not for long here. No, the Desert Raiders are at least getting sniped down by the Yeoman. Deniska's dive will at least buy him some time here. But yeah, fair to say that I'm getting more and more concerned about this Manjanique count. 6, soon to be 7. Reminder, these things kind of function like mini Nesta bees as you scale them. So they are going to be surprisingly effective against Yeoman, even more so against crossbows. Oh my god. I think we killed him. This Mass Manjanique is actually looking spooky. It kind of reminds me of Ibid's picked on Kalauga. Kalauga was another good map for this type of strat. Once again, because of how close the bases are together. Like, it just gives you a really solid push timing. Yeoman is still showing up, and Mahodo doesn't seem to realize. Oops. Ends up losing more workers. Deniska's getting some good chip raids in, but he still doesn't have an answer yet for this. It should be the Knights, but they seem to be scrambling around a little. Another 2 manas going down. Yeah, it's just brutal how quickly they die now. He also did go for the extra mana level. Probably wants to build them far, far away. And yeah, that would be far enough away. He builds them at the back of the base. Because even if you could rebuild the Lancaster Castle, it's not going to change anything. These Manjaniques are too powerful now. Props to Mahodo, man. This has been an impressive game. With how things were trending earlier on, like his plan seemed dubious at best, but I think the only thing that's weak now for Mahodo is raw numbers to protect. He needs more to protect the siege. To stand in the way. Like, just cheap trash such as Spearman, for example. I'd actually just love to see him spam a Cachillian Spearman, because the Yeoman strat won't work against this many Manjaniques, right? Which means the spears are safe. Speaking of those Manjaniques. Another one about to bite the dust down. I think this is good. If he gets rid of the White Tower, it gives him a clear win condition on landmarks. Secondary shots. Hitting nicely there. Manjanique is getting sniped down, though. Mahodo may have gotten a little bit too close. He's not repairing! No. No. Mahodo. Oh, boy. I think he forgot. Remember, Manjaniques have less range than the White Tower. You will be in range of it. Was it 9 tile range on the spring with 8 on... So you're basically in range. You'll always be clipped at maximum. Turns on the TC instead. Much easier target first. Is he taking too much damage? Backstab, and Rotation looking good. Deniska doesn't get blocked by Mahodo quick enough. Ends up losing one of the Manjaniques. Keeps the others alive. That's going to be a quad kill on the Knights, though. TC now to be on fire. At which point... Okay, this is where, like, just full villager pool maybe feels a bit underrated for Mahodo. You don't really want to dive with just the army, because a white tower will slowly melt you down, but there's no boiling oil, right? He has 65 workers. He knows that Deniska is stuck. He knows that slow rolling this is bad because he's up against mass knights. So, like, Mahodo has two choices. You're either spamming up spears, or you go for the select all A-click. I really wish you go for a select all A-click here. Instead, he's being very methodical. Deniska. Looks like he wants to cut reinforcements. Smart choice here. One landmark stands between Mahodo and victory. He can taste it. It's palpable. Wait, but the siege? The knights? Deniska gets a freebie! A great jump in there! Exactly what he built this army for. A sick rotation. Cost him, what, 3 knights, but kills 4 Manjaniques. Worth it. Actually lost another 3 before that, but still. Gets a stay of execution. Slows down Mahodo's timing. Deniska is still in hell right now, but he's at least been spamming up manos behind his base, so he's scaling his eco again. Army count neck and neck. Army value slightly ahead for Mahodo, but actually much further ahead when you consider that most of Deniska's army value is into knights, which are getting debuffed by the camels. Villager working the burning farm? Of course. That's how we bake bread, without an oven. Smart. Final mana now coming up. Actually, sorry, no, he just lost another one. He just can't seem to build them quick enough. This is where you kind of wish you could just press this button, right? Shy Levy would be huge here to deal with the crossbows. It's crazy just how many buildings Mahodo's demolished in this game, and yet still, it's not in the bag yet. And Trebs, he's finally had enough. Keep drop coming in. This is it. Mahodo, we thought he might just go for the select all A-click. He goes a different direction. Deniska now trying to rush more stables. I'm just not sure if he can get the knights quick enough here. I mean, in fairness, Mahodo doesn't have many spears still. And the castle isn't really going to protect you against 27 knights diving. Still Manjaniques. I love that. Guys, he's attack grounding, so he's not in range of the white tower. So he doesn't get the full hit, but he gets a little bit of clip occasionally. He could get a tiny bit deeper here, like this close. Alright, so I'm going to try to punish it. Yeah, because the thing with incendiary shots is very inaccurate. It overshoots its target a lot, which is great for these type of situations. Yeah, just needs to get a teensy bit closer. Yeah, he's clipping the corner now, so watch the health. It's not full damage, but every little counts here. Now, Manjaniques just feel like Lancaster's worst enemy. And no, Deniska doesn't have a TC. So he's just going to keep falling further behind. He's holding on by a thread, and this is his moment. He sallies forth. It's like watching the end of Two Towers all over again. But I don't think there's going to be his Helm's Deep. There's not going to be a Gandalf waiting to shine bright at the top of the mountain. It's all on him. Manjaniques start to hit into the army instead. The trebuchets continue their work. Deniska, is he going to do it? The Manjaniques, they're going to get breached. Mahodo, I think he needed a bit more tunnel vision here. White Tower, it's on fire. The front line's almost gone. However, the knights are dead as well. Deniska has no way of killing the traps. That's it. Stamp of approval, Mahodo. One more strike for victory is all he needs. What a game. Villagers need to be pulled, really, if anything, to try and keep this alive, but it's not going to be enough. GG comes out via the landmark snipe. What a game. What an incredible game. Let me know what you guys thought about this. Manjaniques may actually be Lancaster's worst enemy. Damn. Sick game. What a cool game. I want to watch the rest of the series now, but we've got a live series we need to watch, so god damn it. Is my mic peaking, by the way? It always just sounds like it's peaking or something to me. Hobbit's probably good against knights, against siege rather. Yeah, but he runs the same part. Like at least if you go knights, you can kind of kill camel lancers. You know what I mean? But if you go for hobblars, like they're not going to kill camel lancers at all, and they'll die very, very fast to spears. All right, guys. So we have got Sass versus Voldemar. We will come back to this Mahodo Deniska series, which after one game, oh my god, did it already deliver. This is, by the way, why like when people are like, oh, I just want to watch like Marine Lord or Beasties. Like, why? Dude, like, you guys remember that Delhi game with Marine Lord and Beastie? Was that not just on that kind of epic feeling of level, right? Like, it had that same kind of vibe. That was epic. Well played to both of them. So, draft about to complete. Sass is now doing his final pick. Let me update name of stream. It ended differently? Sure. But, like, I'm talking, like, the epic level of it, you know? And, like, considering a lot of people, like, that's the best game AoE4 we've ever seen. Like, that was doing pretty well by comparison. Like, actually, it looked like for a moment, Deniska might break in and kill the Trebs. Right? Like, when you look at the tail in that fight, like, oh my god, if he just pulled a few knights back and then dove them in afterwards, what does that fight then look like? Because he was left with, like, 30 crossbows against Trebs. Crazy to think that could have been like a game changer potentially for him. But I think the Lados are now getting ready to hop in. Looking at the draft. Let me add in the names. So Sass is on the left. We've got Voldemar on the right. And I still can't get rid of this bloody annoying cough. I'm going to be stuck with it for so long. I don't know. I should probably go to the doctors and get something for it. I'm really bad for like going to the doctors. I just always feel so busy, you know. Like I've got a quadrillion things to do. Ain't got no time for that. All right. So we should... I think they're going to have delay turned on. Interesting draft, though. So what did we get drafted here? Map-wise. Map draft, they went for Dry Arabia, Front Range, and, of course, we're going to begin with Danube Divide. Danube Divide is probably HRE versus... I mean, that's the interesting part. Like, Sass has so many maps for Danube. So many cities, rather, for Danube. China getting through is pretty wild. Why did he... Oh, dude, it's such a Sass thing. He loves his Mongols, right? So he's high-valuing Danube Mongol pick. I think this is probably Mongol beginning versus HRE. I'm not sure if I really like that for Mongol, though. HRE's, like, eco is really, really, really good. It kind of feels like Sass drafted around the opening map. Then again, like Mongols, Japan, that has variants. Like Danube plus Front Range is actually... It's interesting that Voldemar was the one that like allowed that through. when the draft plays out this way, because like technically Sass's draft is very powerful for like 2 of the 3 maps with Front Range and Danube Divide, because he's got Lancaster, Japan, and Mongols. These are all desirable picks there. So maybe that makes it worth forfeiting the Chinese pick. I don't know. It still feels a little bit weird though. Feels weird anytime China gets let through. Opening game. Okay, dude, that is weird. Opening game on Danube, Voldemar's gone for the Malians. I wouldn't have expected that. So I guess like this is an outpost rush to protect himself. So he'll like set up an outpost really early on the forward pit mine. He could technically just walk out to the back gold and build a pit mine there. Because remember, Danube Divide starts you with a gold towards the river and then 1 behind your base. So maybe he's just going to ignore the Dark Age. Because like presumably with you being up against House of Lancaster, you're expecting them to open spears. But let me just get those civs added in. Like the creativity though, like this is a brand new map. No one knows exactly what works. It's just a lot of people been gravitating towards the obvious ones, i.e. civs that use the stone. Malians isn't really one of those civs. Even more so with like, you know, the changes where now you don't need stone for a 2 TC build. I do wonder if there's maybe a world in which you do the Saharan trade network, but I think that the problem with that is like it doesn't really help you at all. Because there's only 1,600 golds. Like, dropping a landmark to protect 1,600 gold is a pretty bad deal. And then you just kind of wish you had Mansa instead. Alright, boys are getting in lobby now, so we should be ready to go in a sec. Reminder, folks, after that, we'll get back towards Deniska versus Mahodo, after which we'll have the Vortex series. We still don't have scheduling for B, Wham, or Anno. We do have Kilyadi and Cause set as well, though. Alright, boys, just hopped in game. Let me check. There we go. HRE and Russo not as good as anyone was thinking. I think HRE is like pretty good still. It's just not giga busted like people used to think. I think it's still a decent pick though. Like it's robust. It has a lot of functionality. Nah, and I still need to watch Solo Leveling. Someone just popped up my feed about it. I've been catching up on Demon Slayer because, like, I had last watched it on the train arc. I think I'm now up to just, like, I'm towards the, I've got, like, 3 episodes left of the Blacksmiths arc. Pretty good, dude. I totally forgot about it, and I come back to it, I was like, why did I stop watching this? This slaps. Solo leveling's kind of meh, huh? How does solo leveling compare to... I'm guessing it's similar in some ways to Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Because that, man, I don't know. I feel like Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon kind of went downhill. I think I don't know if there's another season I need to watch. But like as it expanded into like the guild politics, it just kind of like lost its charm a bit. The one that I'm still to this day gutted about is I wish they would make a new season of Maggie. That anime is god tier. I also really need to catch up on Black Clover, but I can't remember where I left off, and the episode logging number wise is very confusing. Thoughtless comedy, more of a power fantasy. Okay. Score? We're literally in game 1, Johan. I cannot afford a score overlay, okay? I am a humble indie tournament organizer. Pepe hands. Like, what was that? I remember I started watching, like, anime and, you know, the anime and manga, like, summary videos on YouTube. There's a really good manga one where it was, like, the world's... So there's, like, a apocalyptic winter that hits the world. And the guy... like dies, but then he goes back in time, like it was like dream type thing, and then he discovers he has a power, and his power is he has an infinite storage dimension. So what he does is he starts like robbing the warehouse where he works and everything, stockpiling it with all kinds of resources for the apocalypse. Don't know if anyone's heard of that one. It's pretty good. I was enjoying the wrap of it, and it's like got a lot of episodes to it. Only a manga, not an anime. So yeah, like when the winter hits, he's like he also like he basically he maxes out his credit cards so that he can reinforce his apartment, so no one can break in and take his stuff either, right? So he just stays in his little apartment, but he gets like reinforced walls, he gets a full security system, all that kind of stuff, and then obviously he has like, because he has this infinite storage box dimension thing, he doesn't need a lot of space anyway. I can't remember what it's called though. It's really cool. I'd love to see them make that into an anime. You watched the recap of that manga as well? Yeah. It's really good. It's I'm trying to find it now. There's like the recap of it is like really, really long. Because there's that much of it. Is it Shangri-La Frontier? No. Ever watched Dandadan? No. One thing I wanted to catch up on, I don't know if it gets any better, is trying to remember his name. Made in Abyss. So I stopped watching Made in Abyss when it switches over to the movie format. I need to catch up from there. It's weird, and I hate when like different like things do this. So like it basically goes, it would start as a TV series, then they made it into movies, and then after the movies they go back to a TV format. I'm like, I don't know if I can be asked to like go back and forth on that. I hate it when like shows do that. Because changing format is also confusing. Like, I know Demon Slayer has movies, but I'm like, do I need to watch the movies to continue with the TV series? Is there a hop forth and a hop back and forth, or am I good? Right? Because sometimes they don't emphasize that it doesn't matter, right? Like, I think with Seven Deadly Sins, the movies didn't matter, from what I remember. They were like side stories. It's whoop-de freaking doodah. All right, let's get predictions up anyway. Oh, nice, they're there. All right, here we go. KP only chats with Twitch chat? No, I chat with YouTube as well. Removing the goatee and just go stash and chin strap? No. I don't want to do that. I know someone who has like they just have the chin strap, and I think it looks really, really bad on them. But they've been doing it for years, and no one's going to convince them otherwise. I mean, why do I need... What's wrong with this? This just works. All right, anyway, let's get ready to go. All right. Drama time in one of my tournaments. Yeah, this is like being referred to as the drama matchup. We have got Sass and Voldemar clashing in a best of 3 here in the midweek muster. And this has been quite the back and forth. I think these two aren't necessarily on good terms, is the idea at the moment. So what better way to try and iron out the kinks, the differences, than a ruthless best of 3. Voldemar with the first ever Marlian pick we have seen on this map. Danube Divide, a new creation that recently entered Age of Empires 4. This is the first tournament utilizing it. And already Voldemar doing what we expected. Sass, look at his draft. It's front-loaded for this type of map, for aggressive maps. So what did Voldemar do? He picked Marlians to counterplay it with the Outpost build. It's a smart read, man. It's exactly what we predicted as well. It makes a lot of sense. On this map, your close gold is always Ford spawning, which exposes you to Dark Age rushes. Marlians, in particular, are always vulnerable to that until recently when people discovered the Outpost build. So Sass, baited into building 3 Spearmen, doesn't have direct value there. The cool thing, at least for him, is on this map, due to you being able to gather stone from the Forgotten Ruins, he will get value down the line as House of Lancaster. Yeah, this makes your manas easily affordable and scalable. What happened between these two? So, I mean, Dumu went over some details on stream of what apparently happened. I don't think we've had the stories directly explained from the players themselves. It's just been... I think there was like a weird Hubbard discussion going on. But the gist of it is, Voldemar had a Discord, which I believe Sass was booted out of. Now, this is just what I've heard. I think people saw the Reddit thread themselves. We haven't had direct responses from the players on that one, I don't believe. But a bit of a weird beef that developed. And as a result, this is seen as like the dramatic matchup for a lot of people at the moment. Yeah, you know, this is like, this is your discount, like, M-Lord Beastie drama if you can't afford the main the main meal. And I don't have $20,000 to spend on, like, 4 weekends, so I can't afford that meal. But this one will definitely do to sink our teeth into. Man, I'm excited to see this as well. Like, the first Marleyan pick on this map, and it already just has a lot of credit to it. But, oh, what an idea out of Sass! He knows Marleyans are going to play defensive here. They've already admitted to it with the outpost opening. So he fords for both runes control with a Lancaster castle drop next to Voldemar's base. Dude. I love this. This is such a cool matchup already. And remember, he's going to generate a lot of stone off the back of this. By the time he techs up, he should be able to afford the first mana right here. Maybe there'll be a white tile layer. It's possible. I wondered if he was going to do Abbey of Kings just because of like the push power in the early game. But you know, this allows him to anchor down. He can just be greedy, but he's being greedy in an aggressive way, setting up his manas on this screen around this landmark right next to Voldemar's base. Also capable, by the way, of blocking the initial tree line. Like, this is bordering on the Lancaster Castle Rush that got nerfed, you remember. They made a change because it used to be that people were building the Lancaster Castle in the enemy TC range. But they changed it, right? So you can't build it in the overlap anymore. Sass now just going for the full surround. What's Voldemar's reaction going to be to this? You know what? Actually, like, I think Voldemar has a fairly easy reaction. Because Sass may be too close to the base. Could you not just build javelins, sit them here, and then push rams in? That sounds like a pretty good defense strat for Voldemar. So the case whether Sass wants to invest around the Lancaster Castle, because like it feels like it would be very expensive to build around this with that potential risk. But he will get very good timings onto the mana spam. And yeah, clever lad. Sass knows, like, you don't want to build these right in the enemy base because it makes their life way too easy. Like, if you're truly intending to be greedy, that means you've got no one to really defend you against rams here. Archery range now coming in, so Voldemar doing kind of what we'd expect here. You could react with 1 or 2 archers to blunt the spear plan. Voldemar, cute idea. Tried to get the decap to just eject the villager. Won't be able to do it. We do have the racks now coming as well. Yeah, a little bit taboo usually to do against civs that have things like yeoman longbows, right? Like these more powerful archer varieties. But normally with Lancaster, you don't worry about them spamming yeoman in H2. Even more so when they're going to likely be spamming manas. In fact, Sass is adding them in on the front side. When am I adding little flags for Katie and Hull? I'm working on it. We need more sub slots unlocked for that. We're a little bit limited. You guys seem to forget that Twitch basically unlocks slots based on how many subs you have. For obvious reasons, right? Like, if someone's only generating 20 subs a month, they're not going to give them 50 slots to work with. I think Sass is just going to unlock new manas, right? Looks like on the resource hall, he's holding a lot of gold, not much food. Feels like he's optimizing around getting condensed land practices. Then again, if he's gonna, he could pull the trigger right now, but I think he just reinvested. Yeah, funnel mana. Yeah, so now you can just unlock it. Like, he's got so much stone gen, it actually does make sense to just keep greeding. Voldemar is doing something kind of crazy, though. I wasn't expecting that. It's not going to be Donzo. He goes Musafadi. Which is going to be regrettable considering that it's Hobbler. What? Double stable Hobbler? Alright, like so many questions right now. Why Musafadi? Like, he knows it's not Abbey of Kings. He can see the land. Please tell me he must have scouted that. I mean, in fairness to him, we said you don't really want to build Spearmen against Yeoman spam. Hobbler will lose to Musafadi technically. Well, like, it's very close, right? Because the damage value investment. But the idea here, at least, is if you just need something to clear trash, Musafadi are cheaper than Donzos. A lot cheaper. So it actually does kind of make sense of Voldemar. It's just unfortunate for him that this was a Hobbler strat. And we have got level 2 mana now unlocked. Yeah, if he'd known it was Hobbler, it just would have been straight spears anyway. Because guys, remember a while ago they actually they buffed Musafadi from 80 resources down to 75, and Donzos are already more expensive at 90. So it's a pretty healthy saving. You save 20%. Hob 7 damage is pathetic. Yep. But the idea is you master them really quickly. And also, if you counterplay correctly, they're very, very powerful. They hit for 14 into a javelin. Do not sleep on hobbies. Would really like Voldemar to get rid of this. Yeah, he realizes. He's giving way too much free info over to his opponent. You just shouldn't allow this. Like, we've seen a lot of people lose because of small mistakes made around the abandoned outposts. Like, not realizing they're being seen and then just allowing an easy raid that otherwise wouldn't hit. Never underrate the power of this point of interest. We always talk about the other ones, right? Forgotten Ruins is obvious with the stone generation, with the relics. The merchant camp giving you resources is incredible. But abandoned outposts, RTSs are all about information, and this is a free and easy way to get a hold of it. And well, well, well. Sass with the white tower drop on the east side. He locks in the 8k. Yeah, a bit too greedy to go this far forward. That would have been pretty impressive, but not worth the risk. Voldemar, not too far off the age up himself, no. Fulani isn't quite full, but it's good enough. It needs to be when there's already 6 manas in effect for Lancaster.